fate together. All right. Right on. So yeah, that's what dungeon mastering is for me. I often say that the DM is playing a largely different game than the players, because when you're on this side of it, obviously you've got just whatever as opposed to what you guys have over there. But that aside, welcome back everybody to another exciting episode of Black Thumb, the rock'em sock'em steampunk dieselpunk sort of adventure that brings Mad Max to Kalimshan. And for tonight, we're going to be rejoining the gang here in Memnon in the north end of the great desert Kalimshan as they continue their preparations in developing their platform, their team, and their future in the Great Race. A race that encompasses all of the Great Desert as its track, raging through all the dunes and cities and places and whatnot that Kalimshan has to offer. You and your crew are developing the race machine that will see you cross those sands and dunes and great places, cities and peoples to hopefully win that race and your future. And with that said, Shonigan, why don't you tell us what happened last session on Black Thumb?
Sure. So Barry is making his way back with the load of fuel that he's been creating, and in the meantime, he happens to see the Dragors procession. There's a black drake flying with the Dragors, and there are multiple vehicles, one of which is large, rotund is the term, and huge panels and box-like, and the other one has huge tires, which are taller than the vehicle. The black dragon then morphs into a man and with flowing black robes, leading the procession. We cut back to inside the compound. The pasha is at the table with the vizier and the magistrate telling him that this can't continue, and somehow a negotiation is made to take on as a burden a tiefling male child to trade personnel to smooth things out a little bit. We flash forward to the morning. Sorth is practicing trying to hit the broadside of a barn and still missing. Orion is in the shop working on his wings to fly like an eagle. Bjorn is eating again. Laz is just moving heavy shit in the shop because that's what he does, and the tiefling walks in. Gento and Barry come riding with the fuel. They're trying to get things loaded up, tell Laz to move the fuel. Barry's not happy about meeting Mo and is like, why the hell are we taking this child? Mo seems strangely stuck on the fact that he used to be a knight of some sort, or at least just repeats that word once or twice. Barry does take a look over Orion's rig, and everything looks quote-unquote good when he takes a look at it. Bjorn heads to the dock to the witch's tit to negotiate to try and find a driver after seeing that Laz was not incapacitated, but just out of the fight because he was busy driving the bus. He meets up with Lajmo, the half-orc bartender. Bjorn forgets about the driver, gets speed, starts to ask about food again. You already ate breakfast. A human rat-like person comes in, sits down next to him. He's the driver. Bjorn makes a deal, but before they go anywhere, he has to eat again. The driver talks about traps and things set up in shortcuts, and then eventually, after eating and drinking, Bjorn and the driver head back. Mo is just following Barry around to his complete consternation. Orion fails to fuck with Mo when he tries, and Sorth and Corget are starting making jerky after Sorth can't hit the side of a barn. Bjorn brings in Rico, that's the name of the rat-like person, that's the driver. Rico checks out the vehicle and Barry confronts him. Laz needles Barry's about the handling, and Orion gets in on it. We go for a test drive, which is an absolute shit show. The driver seems to be doing good. Orion takes to the skies out on his wings. Rico starts drifting the battle bus, and the team suffers a really good shaking. Then finally, Rico actually starts to crank it up. Heading a turn, pitches into it. God grants him a little bit of inspiration to get it around. Bjorn gets sick and throws up everywhere despite being a sailor. And goddamn, this boy can drive. Eventually, we drive back to the compound. Rico asks Barry to make modifications to keep up with his driving skill. Laz hangs around to help the modification, and tune-up goes pretty well. Orion, Bjorn, Mo, and Sorth head out to go shopping. Laz asks Sorth to pick up some stuff for him, but forgets to give him money because he's apparently a broke hippie. Laz instead asks for the crate ass, some extra hand axes. Sorth goes to get a weapon, but he can't afford any of the shit that's way too expensive, so goes to the bargain bin and grabs a couple of things. I have 2 hand axes for 4 gold pieces written down here. Mo wants to buy a dagger, but can't find what he needs. Orion taking Mo, the 11-year-old, to go get explosives, and then manages to trick his way into the back of the showroom by saying he's part of the miners union, and makes out with a bunch of gear. Heads for another store and goes to the fireworks maker. Tries to buy the most high-power stuff and looking for something uncut. Gets a vial of stuff that's enough to bring a building down. Shopkeeper drives a hard bargain. They try and get the canister in. Orion drops a grenade on the floor to intimidate the shopkeeper, which is not a bright fucking idea, and was rethought somewhere in the process thereof. Tries to lift the jar of explosive, doesn't work, or does it? Well, now he's going to sell it for half price. Orion leaves with 50 gold pieces and walks with the jar. Meta here, I have written that Bjorn is very food driven. Bjorn is looking for the naval supply store, looking for silk rope, grappling hook, hardtack, etc. Finds a direct buy run by a friend with a 5% upcharge. Then I have that Mo visits the shop that Orion robbed and buys a bunch of ashtray and glass pans. And the shoppers make their way back to the compound.
Did you say glass pants?
Foreign experiences.
Did you say glass pants?
I have ashtrays and glass pans. I'm deaf as shit. You should know this by now. Glass what?
Blast, I think.
Blast pads. Or something like that. For shooting fireworks, I think.
There you go.
I bought it because it was really cheap.
Man, I was out of it. I was really out of it last session near the end there. I was passing out. It's bad. So I was a little unclear on what the fuck happened there. I probably should have watched the last session all the way to the end. But
I mean, it doesn't matter if I watch it again. I'm literally deaf for most.
No, I mean me. I said I should have watched the last session all the way through the end. I usually review the sessions before I fucking run the next session. That's why I stream these, eh? That's my excuse, because I'm fucking not getting famous, that's for sure. Point being, though, right on. And with that, everybody got their experience from last session, yeah?
Yes.
Cool. Camera's going to open up across the horizon of Memnon as the sun rises and falls rapidly. The camera trucks in against the scene as we watch the water in the background of the ocean, that massive, beautiful sea, glistening away in the bright desert sun, rapidly moving around as time just flows, as a day passes, and then the moon passes, and then another day. And during this montage, we watch as through the city streets, people mill about ever so quickly, going from place to place, to and fro, whatever business they have to attend to. Folks robed, leading animals of all sorts, horses, camels, elephants, you name it. Exotic and simple material planar beasts and non. You see his six-legged strange creatures, furry and shaven, massive and small, are led about through the city streets like something out of Mos Eisley almost, if you will. The redo, not the original. They didn't have as much Muppets the first time around. CG and whatnot, don't you know? With that said, the camera continues to dolly along the streets, showing different vendors handing out foods and goods and taking coin in as the business around Memnon continues doing its thing for the several days, as we then cut to show the compound formally, and as day passes and night falls and night passes and day rises, we watch as people come in and out of the place, all the while flashing lights flickering away from within the shop as people's mill in and out of the shop. We don't see too many of the crew in this rapid fast-forwarded sort of montage that's playing out, but what we do see is a lot of traffic coming in and out of the place. And during the course of 2 days, do Laz and Barium Rico, and whomever else, I mean, all of Barium's crew, obviously, but whomever else is helping out in the shop, conducts whatever business they have to address Rico's needs and advisements. And the question becomes, gentlemen, what do you do for 2 days?
Well, Laz, after realizing his mistake of sending Sorth out to pick up stuff for him, aside from paying Sorth, will go out and try and find an additional battle axe, or great axe, and then we'll also talk to, after experiencing getting thrown around the bus, talk to Barium about what it's going to need for him to not fall off the bus as he's working up top, if he's going to help fight things off.
It's fair. All right. That's a conversation between you and Barium, specifically speaking, and of course Barium and his crew. With that in mind, though, you acquire a new axe pretty easily. If it's just just want an axe, you don't really care about any specifics.
No, not looking for anything specific, because I know it's probably going to end up getting tossed off the goddamn bus. So spending extra money and extra time trying to find something special just
that's fair.
doesn't seem right at this point in time.
You happen through the streets looking for a piece, and happen upon a merchant who odds or evens.
Odds.
As luck would have it, recognizes you and says, "Oh, you work for Pasha, Hamid, huh?" And he produces a rather fine-looking blade from under the counter that has all sorts of strange filigree down the haft and along the side of the blade, the edges of which are actually gilded with a little bit of gold flake, set where while the blade itself is edged as it is, it's flared, and then there's like a gold trim on the back side of that. And you can still see that it's been used. It's got some chips in the edge, and actually no, sorry, I take that back. It doesn't have any chips in the edge, but there's still some blood stains and some bits of flesh stuck to it. And as the old fellow puts it down on the table with a clunk, he simply says to you, "Once upon a time, Pasha, he helped me. This my way paid for it. You give good word to him. You take it with 50 gold, okay? Yeah, 50 gold here."
Do I? Yeah, I got enough for that. Sure.
As you take it from him, he says, "Happy hunting, huh?" He looks, he's a greasy looking dude, I'm gonna say, as he hands you that axe and takes that 50 coin off you. But that said, you find yourself back in the compound pretty much within like 2 hours. And if you wanted to grab like a shawarma on the way back, I mean.
Well, no, I mean after the after the shopping, the question comes down to coming back to Barium and just mentioning I'm falling all over the place. Like the driver's great, glad I don't have to do it, but I don't want to fall off the bus. I'm gonna be helping to handle the ballista and everything else. Like, what do we do here to keep me from?
The camera shows as you enter upon the workshop, and then cuts to show a montage of you speaking to Barium and Barium listening as you deliver this. During the course of this time, there's sparks flying off of the machine in the background, as we can see the battle bus is situated up on massive metal sawhorses after a fashion. Just big supports that it's sitting on as the wheels are off, and the springs are all getting adjusted and retooled, and Rico's sitting nearby. He's going over a set of drawings with two of Barium's crew members as different members of the crew walk past Barium and occasionally stop in to ask him a question, at which point Barium, while speaking to Laz, can be seen pulling his attention away, giving a couple words, and then looking back towards what Laz is explaining. The question becomes, my man Rick, what does Barium come up with for your boy Laz here?
What would you say to possibly having us install some railings that we can grasp a hold of if need be.
I mean, is that going to be enough?
That's what I'm asking you.
Wait, do we still have feedback in the stream?
I do not.
Do we have feedback in the stream? I haven't
Yeah,
listened.
if I got to put one hand for the bus, that's one less hand for fighting.
Yeah, there's feedback.
I think the feedback's only on us and not you. You seem pretty clear on stream, though.
Weird. I'm not. Weird. I'm not. I don't hear any feedback. Like.
I'm hearing an echo of you.
Yeah, the echo is eternal. Echo is life. Yeah. Oh, Joel just popped in. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. I have no feedback. They do. But I'm watching the stream right now. How am I not seeing the feedback on Twitch?
Can you hear any feedback here? Testing 1 2 3.
I don't have an issue at all.
I think it's just
Is
the
it
echo.
on Twitch? Or is
No,
it
I
just the
was legitimately on Twitch just now. Literally on Twitch.
Okay,
just
maybe
now.
it's just the echo, which is just
I swear to God.
part
I
of
think
these
that's what-
online sessions.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think that's what the guy was talking about.
It's minimal, he says. Well, where's it coming from is my question. Is it an echo we're talking about or feedback like a squelch?
Oh, it's not feedback at all.
It's just like you hear you say the same thing again, like
Oh, okay.
quietly, but 2 or 3 seconds later.
There's the echo. Okay, I thought I tweaked that. It's really just if I talk loudly, then the echo happens. All right. Echo, not feedback. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate you. Right on. I'd give you experience if I could, but viewers, what do you do? He's on Facebook. Unless he is Reptile Room. I don't know if he's Reptile Room. Maybe he's Reptile Room. Sorry, totally digressing here. A little bit of echo, not a big deal. Something to live with. I can grab the headphones, but it'd be a process, and we're already at 7:50. So let's get on with the show. Where were we? So you were saying, how about rails on the top of the battle bus?
What exactly are you afraid of right now, Laz? What do you want done to this bus?
I'm just thinking a rope. Something to keep me from not ending the wheels.
So you want something that will just tie you to the top and keep you up there?
Yeah. Just not falling off. I don't know what that takes. I don't want to fall off.
We can always attach a chain or a rope to your belt.
You're the smart one, Barry. Just tell me what to do.
I think I can arrange this, and maybe for the others if they also want this.
Where's Ocean? We need him.
So?
I think I got one of those set up at the ballista already, correct? Where I can harness in.
You do?
I thought so.
Yeah, you do, I'm pretty sure.
Do I hear this conversation at all?
Are you in the shop? That's really up to you.
Yeah, okay, I'll be in the shop, and I'll overhear them talking about the bars. And I'll approach Barian. Oh shoot. One second here.
Could we run something from the ballista back to the turret that we could clip onto and move along the bus?
Yes, like a sliding bar thing, you know.
So maybe something that could slide alongside
A rope or
a wire.
a hook, some kind of.
You want something that could maybe slide across a wire that goes along the top of the bus to give you free movement, yet keep you on top.
Or at least close enough that we can pull ourselves back up by the wire.
I mean, if Laz, as an aside, if Laz was an idiot, running with 8 intelligence, yeah, I mean, thinking like a line down the center of the bus that you're clipped into, so that if you fall off the side, you're not going everywhere. So you can run back and forth. You've got, 4 feet of play on either side, but if you fall or trip or anything else, you may be hanging on the side. You could probably use a hand, but you're not under wheel or worse off to the side and left behind.
I would also like some sort of mechanism where I could, by pull upon my rope when I'm up in the air, to release some sort of mechanism to pull me back down. Barry, I don't want to get stuck up there. If perhaps there's some black dragon following us that wants to eat me.
I see. I believe that me and my crew can handle this.
Excellent. Yeah.
Because obviously, if you're stuck in the air, you need to be able to pull yourself if we are busy fighting.
Yes. I don't want to burden the crew with my possible, mishaps. Yeah, considering I'm carrying a bunch of explosives too, you don't want me falling out of the sky on top of us.
I'm thinking maybe a simple pulley system could give you the power to pull yourself back in.
Yes, well, these little cobras. Yes, I could wheel myself in for sure.
Noodles.
I've been working them out, if you know what I mean. It's gonna be a long journey by ourselves. Got to be in shape. Anyways, I'll let you take care of that. I've got to dilute some of these explosives because one of them may bring us all down. I'm not sure, but someone would know, right? I should probably talk to someone who knows.
So the camera pans against you guys
I'll
as you're bantering awkwardly before you turn around and leave. Directed by Wes Anderson. As you, I'm just imagining like Grand Budapest Hotel, but it's Kalimshan and a workshop. It's like a race garage in Mexico, in rural Mexico.
There you go. Fueled by the cartel.
straight the fuck up. Like, if you want to know where my point of reference on this is. Right.
I actually do have an idea for Cody's crank. Those like old, what was it in? Was it in the Ninja Warrior, I think? Where they have those like cycle cranks? Where you can crank it like this and it...
Handreel.
Yeah. You can do that along. Like a cable.
You're the mechanic, so you tell me what you come up with.
That's just the first thing that popped into my head that would be, possibly doable.
Well, yeah. Orion's gonna let you handle that. He's going to try and dilute some of these explosives.
Are you gonna find a professional? Or
I'm gonna try and track down somebody who knows what they're doing. So
throw me investigation. And you can do so. Are you gonna contact your network? Are you gonna talk to?
I'm gonna contact the thief network.
Okay.
Underground.
So here's the first fucking time that you've ever done this that I can think of. Correct me if I'm wrong. Actually,
I've played around with contacts, but I've never actually tried to use the network to do
All right,
something.
so let's flesh this out. What does Memnon have? I don't know offhand, to be quite honest. See if anybody's actually made anything up that I can steal. Beg, borrow, and steal, baby. Here we go. All right, hey, right on. We're getting somewhere here. I like this. This guy, he wouldn't still be alive, but his kids would be. All right, cool. Just double check that. So far as I know, yeah, they'd still be alive. All right, throw me investigation at advantage as you reach out and touch someone.
Yeah. Okay, I got a 14 and an 8, so 14.
With a 14 total, you head out into the city. And sorry, what are you after?
Just an explosives expert or someone like that.
Fair. All right, so, easily enough, do you head out through your contacts? You get set up. You get set up with a fellow by the name of Ostak, and he is he is legitimately an explosive specific expert that contracts out to the city, typically, and large companies that are conducting legitimate business. But he's so good and loves his job so much, as he says, it's all about blowing shit up. And you say you want this to blow more up, I'm assuming. As the camera pans against you, his shoulder moving to the side to reveal you as you're holding the bottle in your outstretched hands, and then the camera kind of like swivels about to show him as he's looking down at you. We can do this for you.
Excellent. Yes.
And he holds out his two hands outstretched, takes the vessel from you. And there's like a montage of bubbling and squeaking and venting of smoke and smolder. And of course, it's but say 2 hours later that he's looking at you and saying, "This will be we'll say 6 tri-crowns. That is 60 gold lions, if you have them, please."
I do, but perhaps we could barter a little bit with the man of the thief network. You know, a man of my stature and.
You're already getting the discount. What more do you want?
Okay. Well, how much? How many products have you produced out of this? Can I see them first? I just want to make sure quality. You know.
He makes a gesture towards the several bottles that he's set out towards for you. So all told, the vessel was as big as it was, and he split it down to 24 bottles of 1d6 a piece plus 1d4 explosives. So 1d6 plus 1d4. And it's 1d4 for glass shrapnel and 1d6 for the explosive.
Okay, yes, this looks excellent. Could you please describe what type of radius of explosion should I expect from these? Is it like a little, or is it like a boom?
So there's a quick cut to him with a raised eyebrow, and then a cut to your face as you're like this, and then one again on his eyebrow, and then it cuts to you guys in the field, and he hands you a bottle. I had some left over. You can throw it at the dummy.
Very well. I toss it with my short arm strength. Here we go. Ah! And I'll throw it at the dummy.
Roll to hit is 10 or better.
Okay. 10 or better.
And it's a strength-based attack. You're just throwing, I think.
Strength-based. Okay. D20. Plus your own strength. Oh, I got a 10.
Oh, bam. The dummy bursts as the flames explode from underneath it. It lifts into the air, conflagrating as it does, turning into a kind of missile after a fashion as it raises up, flaring and flaming to life, frothing with golden flowers of licking budding flames. As a moment later, it comes up and holds for a moment, and then just falls down to the ground, burning in now the field of fire that is surrounding where the explosive shattered and exploded. Also, as you're situated, you're like, whoa! The fellow looks at you and says, "Ahem." And he lowers his arm and says, "You've got a bit of something." And you wipe away a bit of glass from your skin coming off your finger with a bit of blood where the shrapnel struck you and you didn't realize.
Yes, this is excellent. This is what I wanted. Okay, yes. 60 gold, or 6 crowns is excellent price for this. Yes, I will give that to you right now. Here you go. Here.
You producing 6 platinum pieces, situate them in his hand, and he counts them out, looks them over, does one of these with them, and then puts them into a sack at his side. And he simply gives you one of these.
Thank you, my friend. I will be back should I require any more of the explosive expertise. And should you find yourself in the desert and hear of our team traveling in the Great Race, please do approach us, as I will likely need a refill, and I will gladly tell everybody within the network where I got my explosives from.
He bids you the best of luck.
Fair enough.
What is Mo been up to? What's Mo been doing? Tell me about Mo. Yo, Benny, what's Mo doing?
Alright, so, he's, look at something almost dropped. So, he's gonna go to Barium's workshop, right? And check out the car, because he's very interested in it.
Okay. You find yourself in the shop, looking this thing over, as the guys are working upon it.
I'm gonna look for any weaknesses I could see.
What's your proficiencies and whatnot? What's your background? Your character's background?
I'm a broke boy orphan with no education whatsoever.
Alright, cool. You can throw that at disadvantage, given you have no idea about anything when it comes to cars. Or anything mechanical, I guess.
Will it be investigation?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with investigation as opposed to perception.
Okay, I got 10.
Right on the money, eh? As you look at the springs, they look like they might be too long for where the shaft takes them, and you don't know the words for them. As you look at the as you look at the big coil of metal, and you look at the big space where you see the other springs are supposed to go. This one looks like it's too long for that spot.
Okay.
It looks like it won't fit. So that strikes you as odd. Then you head around to the other side, and you see that there's oh goodness, I don't. Gosh, this is tough. You see that the oh man, this is really hard actually. I'm trying to think of what a 10-year-old would look around a car and at a 10 note is off. You know what? I'll leave it at that. You don't notice anything else.
Okay.
But you do think that Laz needs a better way to situate himself on the vehicle. I'll say that.
So, is barium around?
He is actually. He's working all around the place.
I'll sneak up behind him, and I'll try to tell him what happened.
Okay, roll me stealth.
Roll stealth.
Now this is strictly against Barium's passive perception, so that's fine.
I got a 13.
Barium, what's your passive perception?
9.
All right, you managed to successfully sneak up on Barium while he's working away.
And I'll just I'll lean. If he's like, wait, what's he doing?
Currently, he is going over some plans with one of his fellows. They're currently talking about the big coil of metal.
Okay. I'm gonna stand directly behind him, like uncomfortably close, and I'm just gonna yell out, "Hi, Uncle."
So, that happens. Like directly next to you. I mean, not within 5 feet of you, but within your personal bubble. And Barium's got a pretty small bubble. Like he's a big dude. He doesn't really mind too much, I imagine. But this kid's right under your arm.
What are you doing here?
I'm protesting in favor for the big man.
Yes.
It's too small.
I think we'll handle this. We have this under control. Where's your keeper? Orion? Where's Orion at?
Hey, look, your shoe's untied. I'm running away.
Yeah, Habib, your shoe's not untied. Here, look at this. The tension on this particular coil going into the strut, Rico says is not going to be enough on the front. He wants loose in the back, tight in the front, you know? We possibly need larger coil.
We'll have to see what we can do. This is short notice, but...
Yeah, it's very short. It's not 2 days away from race time, huh? The fellow, Jonas, looks over towards the machine and then down at the spring. Perhaps forged new, huh? We get 2 new forged?
I think we might have to get these forged.
You look to the pasha. Perhaps he knows somebody. He gives
I'll have to ask.
Gives you a tap on the chest and says, "Get it done as fast as you can. I'll be ready for you here." He gets everybody, or he gets another fellow, yalla, and they pick up the spring and move it off to the side. Rico comes in towards you. The changes are going well. I love this. This is amazing. Such an opportunity. I am excited for this. I expect great things from all of us, huh? And we will be great together. I can feel it. The fires and the fury and the wonderful victories that we will face every city that we reach. You wait, Barium. This time next week, we shall be covered in wine and women and monies from all around. You have no idea of what is in store. There's been some time since I have been on the open road. Oh, I long for this. When will she be ready? When will she be ready again?
We need to try and find you the right springs for the front.
He kind of goes like into rapid fire Kalashite for a moment, and you pick up a couple of choice curse words. And then he kind of postures himself again and he says, "Okay, but how long?"
It depends how long it takes to get these springs.
And then he continues the barrage for a moment and he says, "Okay." And then he puts one hand on your shoulder, which feels really awkward and uncomfortable as he kind of like adjusts himself. And then "I trust you. You are amazing." And then he taps you right under your jaw and gives you a rub. And it feels fucking awkward, kind of feels good, and at the same time, feels terrible. as he steps away and he says, "Thank you for all you do." And he heads off. The camera pans from this to show the whole of the compound for a moment as Kurgit walks out from the lean-to with a pair of rugs, one over each shoulder, and he walks into the Pasha's hut. The camera pans trucking towards the lean-to as we watch Kurgan do this, and then turns 90 degrees to show you lazily in your... well, maybe not, actually. What are you doing? Let me ask you.
Okay, at that time, I'm just gonna probably be getting up because, you know, I got my ass kicked by a bus.
Okay, fair enough. So that said, it shows you hanging out in your hammock, and you can hear in the distance the bangings of metal, the rushings of steam, the unmistakable sounds of the workshop in full tilt work mode.
Sweet. Okay, before when we got back to the compound, I'm gonna give those 2 high quality hand axes to Laz. Hand those off before he goes back to the store to pick up the great axe I couldn't afford.
Okay.
And back to the normal day. I'm gonna, realizing that I have about as much balance as a toddler in a moving vehicle, I'm gonna take one of the Pasha's horses and practice standing on it while it's on full gallop.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So you're gonna do it
you-
after?
You're gonna
Probably.
go out into the open
Yeah, more than
fields,
likely.
or are you doing this just here in the yard, or are you gonna go out to like open field? You can do it here
I'm
in the
good.
yard.
If it's possible in the yard, sure, but
Yeah.
I think I'd rather an open field so I can do some target practice at the same time.
Okay, that's fair. With that said, you there's a montage of you doing this. That's totally fine. Roll me a to hit as you sorry, roll me acrobatics and then roll me a to hit. If we even make it anywhere with the acrobatics first. So we're looking for a 14 or better. I imagine is upper pro for when you're on a fucking horse or standing on a horse. I don't know how hard standing on a horse is. Like I can stand on a mountain bike. Like I'm pretty agile that way. I don't know if I could do it at 40, but you know maybe. I feel like I could do it. But point being is, I feel like a 14 is appropriate there. I've never
Yeah, well,
stood
so
on a
it's-
horse. A friend of
so
mine
it's
could probably
standing
tell me
on a
there. Joe, if you're watching, let me know. Is a 14 appropriate? 14 out of 20 for difficulty. It's Jolene. She's amazing. Just incredible woman, but loves horses. Don't know if she's ever actually stood on the back of one while it was riding. Couldn't imagine that. Actually, I totally could imagine that, mind you.
I feel like it'd be really hard.
In any event, 14.
Alright, I got a 12, so...
All right. So
it's
it
good
wasn't.
doing.
The truth is, it wasn't 5 under, which is a thing in D&D, and so you don't flail and fall off the horse. But as you go to stand on it, and you grab a hold of the hair, and you're kind of riding along, and you're doing okay, sort of. Okay, no, you can do this. Give me another go. Either you succeed or you biff it and eat dirt, like one or the
Awesome,
other.
19.
All right.
Good.
And you,
Nice.
okay, you're riding on the horse. You're riding on the horse as it's galloping along, and your massive feet on the saddle as you're doing your best to not claw directly into the horse, but you're holding tight as you can with your feet. And you get your bow and arrow, or
Yeah, I'm taking the bow out.
right out comes the bow and arrow, and you knock one of the shots and roll to hit.
Ooh, 22.
Hey, there you
Solid.
go. After a brief montage with some pretty standard music, as you'd imagine, something like "Eye of the Tiger" probably is playing, as you fire out, and it shows like a montage of rabbits and lizards getting struck through the head by various shots. No, hang on. Where's
That's
that?
lunch.
The Eye of the Tiger. Anyhow, so that happens. You
I'd
come
like
off
to-
the field feeling pretty good about yourself.
Before I come off, I want to collect those kills and take them back with me.
That's cool. It shows you walk back to the lean-to, and Kurgan looks at you. Rabbit stew! I love this. Yes, good idea. And he comes in towards you and just takes this massive bushel of furred creatures off you. Lizard too. Oh my goodness. What is this? And he just mumbles to himself as he sets them down next to the fire, and you watch him as he's pulls out his massive ginsu and just sets to work daintily cutting things down, and fur goes flying off as he skins the various rabbits and shit. Pelts all stacked neatly in the corner. With that said, he preps food and tells you that he'll give you what, I guess 70% the monies from the sales tomorrow. He says that's 20% more than I would give anybody in your position, you know.
This Kurgan is why we're friends.
He nods as he looks upon the rabbits and says, "Yes, it is." Ha ha. With that said, the camera pans against you guys and shows Orion's been doing his thing. Sorry, Bjorn, what have you been up to?
I've been doing some work around the ballista, just stowing some equipment there. I want to make sure my 2 grappling hooks are tied down.
Great.
As well, I want to have like a water skin and maybe some snacks close by.
Fair enough. All right.
And then
just leaning
I've spent
into
some.
it. All right, I can respect that.
I've spent some time inlaying that copper coin I had with Valkyr's crest into the actual body of the ballista.
Okay.
And just very ritualistically been getting prepared for the voyage. So I've also been tying down the rations and the water catcher and all that stuff I've assembled into the body of the vehicle.
Okay, fair enough. The way you've described this, I imagine that Bjorn's got like a little, quite the little setup around the ballista itself. As to say, all the supplies that you've mentioned there, all secured down, like a good sailor should have.
Yeah.
Right on, actually.
And then and then just like my spare rations and stuff, I've netted down inside the body of the vehicle, so they don't go flying everywhere on a sharp turn.
That sounds excellent. All right, cool. What else? Is that everybody? Actually, no. Come to think of it, truth be, Barium, what are you doing specifically yourself?
Besides setting up the systems that Laz and Orion requested.
Mm-hmm. What do you do for you?
It's usually what I do for the Pasha.
Indeedy duty. And speaking of, I mean, really, what would any session of Black Thumb be without a flourishment of a presence permitted, a display of Mr. Al-Jabbar himself, as he comes out for a brief moment and then says, "Oh no, I needed to go to," and he leaves before he says anything else. And that was about the size of it. Anyhow, what is it that Barium does?
Shit, Barium's works. It works and eats. I'm not sure.
I mean, Laz has been helping out in the shop all day, but he broke away for a moment to buy himself an axe. So, I mean, at this moment, he's literally just like, he's the guy who pulls apart. You guys don't have like any jaws or steam engines or anything like that. Laz pulls apart the fucking strut, and you guys take the coil out like that. Like, that's how shit's done around here.
It's all physical and by force.
Yeah. With that said, do you have anything specific that you need to do, that you want to do? Anything specific that you want to work into the plans last minute? Anything special that you feel that you need to have?
I was gonna ask, as far as like the bus goes, did we, like, I know we had a way to work on the engine from the inside, but did we ever get like a backup engine in case of failure?
Nope.
Yeah, I'd say he'd be looking into that.
That sounds fine.
There's nothing better than a backup.
You could possibly hit up, you could possibly explosive axe. You could possibly hit up Mansour, the vizier, and see if he could do something for you.
That's what I'll do.
Or the Pasha. Like, either way, you could go either route. Sorry, I didn't mean to say like you don't hit the Pasha up for it. It's up to you.
I think Barium would go to the Pasha first.
Okay. With that said, you approach Spellforge Engine. I like the sound of that. You approach upon easily traversing the stairs and, of course, raising up towards where his office is on the second floor. You come upon to find him discussing with Mansour over some books, looking back and forth as he's sucking away on a hookah. He looks over towards you. Barium, what can I do for you? Hey,
pardon my interruption.
He snaps his fingers as you say this, and towards comes one of the boys that works during the day with a tray, and he sets it down. Cheers, Rick. He pours out some wine and holds the glass towards you as you say what? Say what? Say what?
Well, doing our last minute adjustments on the bus, making sure everything's in tip-top shape, couldn't help but try to think what else I could do since we still have some time. I was wondering if there was any way we could search for a backup engine in case of failure. So working on an engine is one thing, but if there was anything to cause this engine to fail, there would be nothing better than to have something ready to just swap on the road.
He gives a nod at this and says, Barium, are you asking me for another engine?
Well, you never know what can happen on the road, and if we're broken down, there's no telling how long it could take to work on a broken engine versus just having a spare.
He gives a nod at this, and he lifts a finger and says, I will look into it, Mama. But you must understand. The only reason we are entering into this race is because we happened upon one of my debtors who happened to have an engine. And let's review. If I recall, it was special circumstances that led to... You hear a knock at the doors. He looks over towards the doorway, and Mansour looks up as the door suddenly opens up, and in walks a official messenger. Rather looking fellow from the city. Mail for the pasha. But it's not like normal mail that would just be dropped off. This is a special delivery. But the fellow looks as much as city official as any, as he's being led in by one of the pasha's men, who holds himself steady as he leads the fellow through, and coming towards the pasha with a bit of parchment rolled up. He places it down on the table, and the pasha looks towards him and looks up at him and says, Thank you. And he looks towards Mansour. Mansour looks towards the fellow, jangles about for a moment, and then pulls out a couple coins and throws them down on the table. The fellow grabs them and leaves moments afterwards. At which point the pasha simply looks over towards you and says, As you were saying, my apologies.
Of course, this engine, if it's a backup, it might not have the same power as the one we've already obtained. But my idea is, if this engine would receive damage, it may take far longer to fix than it would to just swap engines, get us back on the road, and then I could work on the broken engine, the main engine, as we're continuing the race.
He looks you up and down for a moment as he looks over towards the scroll and then up towards you. And after a brief moment, he gives a nod and he says, I will reach out. I happen to have an idea of what I could do in this case, I think. And Mansour just looks at him. Who would have an engine? The only reason we have an engine is because of fate. Where another engine like this come from? Well, there's no engine makers in the area at all. Why, where, how, who? And Al Jabbar simply looks down towards looks down and he's holding his hookah hose and he takes a slow suck on it and slowly lets out a massive vaporly cloud and looks up towards Barium and says, I will ask around. I have an idea. Yeah, I have an idea. He looks over towards Mansoor, at which point he says, have you forgotten that we have the dwarves coming through and he looks down towards his table and the parchments for a moment. He kind of like sidles him to the side and he pulls out a calendar and he points towards a date, like a 10-day from now. And Mansoor simply looks at him. Ha! That is true. There will be a celebration for the great race. There shall be engineers in Memnon and perhaps other cities, huh? Your race takes you all the way to Kalimport, through Kalimport to Kalimport. The vizier regards himself for a moment, picking his words as he says to the pasha, but how? We have the monies for this. And the pasha looks up at him and says, we have a platform and a race machine ready to go. If perhaps the sponsor, nobody sponsors with an engine, is too much. And the pasha looks at him, nothing is too much if there is faith involved, and I have faith in my people. We must sell that faith. Do you understand? Mansoor looks at him and says, I submit that I see a possibility. There is potential. And he simply raises his hands and puts his arms together and gives a nod towards Barium. If this work, then we have another engine. We must find sponsor within the forgers, but I do not see this. Perhaps, he says, there is potential, but he just gives a shrug, not believing that it's there. You know, he doesn't think that it's really plausible, but he wants to believe. That said, though, the camera pans against you guys as the pasha says, we have no budget for this. You must understand, Barium, an engine is not so much that we can afford. But if we should happen upon one, I will ask around.
This is understandable. But my family taught me that fate sometimes guides us, but if you work hard enough, you can redirect where fate leads you.
He gives a nod, and simply asks, would you like more wine?
No thanks. I still have a lot of work to do.
He gives a nod at this and says, but it's true, so do I. He grabs a piece of parchment and pulls it towards himself. He pulls out a quill, dips it in ink, and makes a couple scratches upon it. And at which point he... you can see from where you're positioned that he writes down... let's give this guy a name here. Bear with me. He writes on the parchment, speak to Oppen. Oppen. About power plant.
Good night, Dad.
Ooh, my English got I'll be right back. I'm gonna say goodnight to the kids.
I
Good night.
Good night, kids.
Does the term happen upon mean steal? Like if we happen upon another
Yes.
vehicle that happens to have an engine?
If Orion happens to fly over and land upon another vehicle and happens to drive it away, yes.
And drop a bunch of napalm, which is apparently what you created.
Yeah.
I used to have a car, guys.
Hey, you're 12.
Who
We
gives
also
an
used to have
11-year-old a
a
car?
You did have a car until you went boom.
We have
Yeah.
very low
crazy.
success keeping the second cars.
Listen, we can handle 2 cars.
When I first met you guys trashed 2 cars.
That one was
Wait-
a junker
wait a
anyway. The
minute.
brakes didn't even work, you know.
Wait a minute.
Steering was
Varian did not-
crap.
The pedal got stuck.
All Barium has done is create. He has not destroyed.
Look for the lives of innocent men and women, where you can put in Dragors.
Ben's characters all destroy. Orion destroys.
I haven't killed anybody yet.
Bjorn gets destroyed by
It's funny because
Willis.
all Laz wants to do is destroy things.
Just notice the
That's all I
jazz.
want to do is just wreck shit, and I never get the chance to. I'm driving a goddamn bus.
What was that one ability Laz had?
Oh no! Now we've added on
Yeah,
turn left,
having
I think.
2 hits now.
Laz is a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, I mean now I've got Great Weapon Master, I've got Rage, and I have 2 attacks now too, and Reckless Attack.
Rage should have worked with the bus. As long as you're running somebody over every turn.
Just pull those levers so hard.
I do like the driver drifting in. Apparently, he's a better driver than Tiger Woods. So,
Ouch.
oh,
Wasn't it a
What-
one-car accident?
it was. I'm actually waiting to see. So I'm trying to find out some more details on it for work-related stuff. But if you look at the images, I'm kind of shocked by how damaged the front. If this was a pure rollover, I'm really surprised by how damaged the front end is on that vehicle.
Damn, yeah, I just looked it up. Holy crap.
Yeah, it was a hell of a whack. I mean, the wheel that's sticking up looks like it was lodged pretty solidly back into the frame. So,
Mike Crazy,
you
did he have
gotta-
another one a couple years back too?
You want you mean the first one when like he drove off the side of the road because his now
Was
ex-wife
drunk?
hit the front of the windshield with a golf club because he was cheating on her? That one?
Yeah.
Like, which one are we going with here? There was that one, and then there was the back issues, and then everything else, and yeah.
Yeah, I just seem to remember like Tiger Woods crash, and I saw this thing pop up today, and I wasn't sure if it was talking about something that just happened or this big.
No,
memory I had.
I mean the crappy part is on top of everything else. I mean, the guy was trying to recover from recent back surgery.
Yeah.
And then this happened. So we have no idea what occurred in it. I mean, my thing is strictly from the engineering point is
Mhm.
what the hell happened in the crash, and looking at the vehicle, the rollover damage is different than what I'm used to seeing from a strict rollover versus a frontal impact followed by rollover.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
the whole front right's crushed in. It looks like.
yeah, I mean, you can see that the passenger side wheel is crushed back underneath the A pillar. Yeah, the A pillar, the B pillar, the rest of the hood is not destroyed. The rest of the roof is not destroyed. The windows aren't blown out, which is normally what you would see. Not normally, but what you would expect to see with a pure lateral rollover. So
Yeah.
it just kind of stuck out to me, and our office is trying to find out what the hell happened. And
Just curiosity or actual work related?
no, it's work related, just because it brings a lot of things to the forefront for discussion.
Mhm.
When the crash happened in New Jersey, and we focused on the fact of what happened with the truck driver, and the fact the truck driver had been awake for so many hours, had been driving for so many hours, had commuted from North Carolina all the way up to New York or Connecticut, where we had picked up the load, driven back down through New Jersey. That was like all important to understand the impacts of the collision.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was the whole Tracy Morgan thing.
I was thinking that. I was like, yeah, because wasn't it like just because he didn't get a couple hours of sleep or something? He was a couple seconds off his reaction.
It wasn't a couple hours of sleep. The guy had been up for well over a day, if I recall.
Jeez.
He had commuted in multiple hours to get to work, then had driven. So right now in the U.S., you're allowed to drive up to 11 hours a day in a 14-hour window.
Okay.
And that was before they made the recent changes, which is like, well, the 14-hour window is kind of a suggestion. Because if you have a sleeper berth, we're going to end on 3 hours, or if you have adverse driving conditions, we're going to add some extra hours there, and we're not going to include this or include that. And then they got rid of the fact of truck drivers were supposed to have a half-hour break after they've been at work for 8 hours. And they said, nah, we're going to make it based on driving hours. So you can work for 3 hours and then drive for 8 hours and not have any single break in an 11-hour workday. And drive 80,000 pounds down the highways.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not ideal.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And then what happened in the Tracy Morgan case was on top of that issue was the fact that the guy had commuted from way the hell out of state. So he had already gotten up and driven multiple hours before he was considered at work. And then drove from there and fell asleep and approached a pile of traffic, which is, one of the worst situations that we deal with. Is a truck driver being tired, fatigued, and driving up on stop traffic because they're stopped for construction or something else, or even just traffic in and of itself, and then they just go through like a freaking buzzsaw.
Yeah, we had something like 30 car pile up on one of our highways the other day.
Actually, damn.
Jeez.
Yeah,
See that.
on one of the mountain passes, there's a steep hill coming down into a tunnel, and it's just completely iced over. And there's an accident in the tunnel entrance, and then more and more cars just kept coming and trying to stop on the hill and just sliding right into the back of it.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
It sucks because there's really nothing you can do. You don't expect it, and there it is, and then you try to stop it.
Well, see that, and so that it's really funny because that's one of the things that we work on is vehicle-to-vehicle communication and vehicle infrastructure. Is in the U.S. we were trying to get this mandated that your car would actually talk to the road. And so, the infrastructure operators that see the first collision happen will send out a warning telling all the other cars behind it, like, hey, there's a problem, everyone slow the hell down. It'll tell your car, like, hey, you shouldn't be going above X speed because you're coming up on a mess. And even if it doesn't automatically slow you down, it'll at least give you a warning, be like, hey, there's a shitstorm up ahead of you that you can't see.
They interviewed one of the truckers who was involved in it, and he said he managed to stop because he saw someone else coming up the hill on the other side, just like frantically waving at him to slow down. And then he got to this side and just sat there for like hour just watching cars keep crashing into this.
Jeez.
That one in Texas was terrifying.
Oh yeah, you watched the video?
That shit,
coming out of the fog.
God, that was hard to watch. Just those trucks going full speed into the pile. God.
Wasn't. I know that bombshell. Welcome back, gentlemen. So, as we were, where did I leave off?
Looking for another engine?
Fantastic. And the pasha looks towards Barium and says he'll do his best. And to believe. With that said, he also asked if you want any more wine, to which you said no, and I believe you disengaged from the conversation, his company, the space altogether. With that said, you make your way out and down the stairs, heading back towards the shop. Was there anything else that Barium would go after?
Not that I can think of.
Alright. With that in mind, you come in upon the workshop space and conduct your duties. alongside your people for the next however long that it takes, which is, of course, 2 days, as I was saying. With that said, that brings us to within 2 days of, within a day of the official race launch. And with that said, with the machine prepped as the camera pulls back from the workshop. As the camera pulls back from the workshop, we watch as a cart pulls in, slowly coming towards the compound's entrance. As the gates open up, and in comes the cart, being dragged by 2 horses, and comes in alongside the workshop's entryway, and the canvas is pulled aside to reveal 2 brand new coils, forged and beautiful. As your workers dutifully yank them off the cart, there's a montage of them being assembled. As the struts lifted up with Laz's massive biceps straining to hold the massive battle bus. These huge coils are situated in, and a moment later the bus lowered down. As each strut squeezes itself down, the springs holding it aloft, the suspension holding tight, Rico comes in upon it and simply gives one of these. I can hardly wait to hold her steady upon the curves of the dunes. This will be beautiful. With that said, we watch from the horizon of Memnon, as there in the distance we see the Pasha's compound. And we watch as the battle bus slowly rolls out from the compound and makes its way along the city street. We see this massive main street that you guys are following. Bless you, Alex. Meanwhile, there's also a split screen that shows a montage of everybody conducting these last-minute affairs. There's Kurgit, who gives your hand a shake with both of his, and he slaps you on your snout, and then he holds a little something out towards you. It's an effigy of a horse, a little horse figurine in full gallop, and he says, "Ride like the wind, my brother. You will bring me great honor when I hear of you crossing victory line in Kallenport.
When we cross the line, we'll have a feast."
I will be booking passage upon several transports to get down there. I forgot to mention, I already have my cargoes packed. I hope to see you along the road, perhaps.
As do I. And bring some of that rabbit stew with you.
He says, of course, you have just reminded me. And he turns around and he heads over towards the pile of stuff that you have by the door. And he grabs a sack that you hadn't seen before and he drags it over. I packed these for you. And he undoes the bag and lowers it down. And you see it's a whole bunch of wooden bowls. Each of them, let's say there's like 6 bowls all stacked up. And each one's leather covered and wrapped around the edges. And he says, each of these is stew left over from all the rabbits you killed. You have several meals here, my man. Or my lizardly friend. And he wraps the bag back up. And there you go. So you got 6 bowls of stew actually set for you. Also, you had a bowl of that stew this morning. Forgot to mention. It's terrific stuff. You're going to start the day out with, that's terrible. Let's, you know what? We're going to put some sauce on that because I'm feeling nice. Wow, that's snake eyes. You're going to start the day, fuck it, with 4 temporary hit points because the dice are being shitty.
Solid.
With that said, with the struts in place, the machine's set, and barrels of fuel loaded up from the fuels master, the fuels master himself, actually, there, Gento, with Lavash, says to you guys, the Pasha has worked well with us. We have several of the earth barrels ready for you at the next checkpoint. So far as I understand it, Al-Jabbar has your best interests in mind, so you can be rest assured that we have sent several barrels along. Judging from the mileage that you will be using, you will have enough fuel dispersed along the route. Go like the wind. May victory find you. The let's see what else was there. The crew is shown as they smash several bottles against it, one after the next. They're like, smash! Big fucking bottle of wine explodes upon the front. Then another guy comes in, smash! And the guys are like, what are you doing? And he's like, I am celebrating. And they say, no, that was the one we were going to drink, you stupid fuck. Ugh, now we have no wine. Blessed be. Camera pans against a lot of you guys in the bus as it shows you preparing yourselves for the rollout. And of course, the unit fires to life. Come on, you fucker. Do what you're supposed to do. No, hang on. There. There it is. That's what we wanted. Get that beautiful set of pipes rolling. And so indeed you do. As the lot of you roll out from the compound, slowly making your way over towards the compound's gate, and then into the main street, and then finally down the route that you need to take to get out of town. You pass by several stalls, livestock, camels and horses, peoples giving you the finger. I'm walking here. As you finally crest against the gate of the city, out into the open air. Rico at the helm looks over towards the lot of you and simply says, okay, I take us now to Fate's Gateway. He gives a nod towards everybody. Everyone strapped?
Yeah.
Hey.
As the camera pans against Rico's face, or each of your faces, one after the next, it then comes to rest upon Rico's face as he simply gives a nod and says, okay, let's go where fate will meet us. And with that, the tires squeal, dirt flares up behind the battle bus as the whole of the vehicle, with all the weight, with everything in it, with the tweaks that Rico had made, lurches, but oddly, doesn't lurch so much. In fact, it just takes off. The springs in the back, loose to some degree, squash down as the whole of it suddenly picks up and smoothly flares off. As the springs pick up and the front end, stiff as it is, allows him to easily steer within and without whatever obstacles that may present themselves. He casually holds the wheel with one arm as he brings you guys upon a large stretch of dirt road leading away towards, as you can see in the distance, a large crowd and a massive set of flags, tapestries, banners, and beasts all lined up in a procession of peoples and things devoted to the great race. As the silhouette of your vehicle against the surface of Faerun, careening against the desert of Kalimshan, leading away from Memnon as we watch the city disappearing in the distance. From this bird's eye view, we watch as the battle bus alone on this massive stretch of road heads in towards this huge event, just some few kilometers away from that massive city of Memnon. As you come in upon this gate and the crowds begin to overtake you, the tent city outside of patrons who've come to attend the great send-off, you can see in the distance the many teams assembling in their own tents within the race grounds. As you careen forth towards the entryway to the race space proper, coming towards the main gates where you see several peoples lined up, Rico casually slows the machine down. No, that's wrong. Cranking the machine into an idle roll and bringing it about. The machine creaks and strains against the weight of itself as it makes its way casually ambling towards the racer's gateways. Thereupon, he rolls up towards where a robust-looking ogre fellow, massive in his stature, steps forward. And as he steps in towards the battle bus, his footfalls shaking the edge of the bus as he comes to a halt. And Rico simply looks up towards him, and the massive ogre looks down at him and says, "Dead Boris." To which Rico looks over towards you guys and then produces your race credentials and holds them forth out the window. The ogre simply looks at them for a moment and picks them out of his hands and then lowers them down towards a human fellow situated underneath him, who takes them, unfurls them, gives a nod, and hands them back up towards the ogre, who takes them in his massive hand and his massive fingers, and with a pinch holds them forth towards Rico, who takes them back, and a moment later is listening to something the human says. Anybody with a 14 or better can hear him say, "Keep it slow inside." At which point Rico cranks forth, and the battle bus slowly ambles off towards the gate as it starts to creak open, its massive stature rolling as the two huge gates fall to the sides, opening up in a panorama of workshops lining up a large road space, where to the left and the right you can see workshops for the many teams that are here for the great race's send-off. And off to the one side, you can see easily enough the recognizable crest, the robed knights, and of course the black-robed, bald-headed man, the Dragors. But as it were, Rico pulls a left, and pulls a left, and the whole of the bus rolls over towards an open set of workshops. And as he slowly brings the machine to chuff to a halt within one of the garages, he looks over towards everybody, looking over his shoulder as he does, and says, "We're here!" And he unbuckles himself and hops off, and he, stepping towards the entryway and pulling the door of the battle bus to the side, he steps off and out into the sunlight.
Come, my friends. Let us bask in this moment.
We've worked hard to be ready for this.
Laz is suspicious and tells everyone to be on guard lest somebody else's Orion makes for our vehicle to sabotage something.
But if I let them reach here, do not fear, Laz. I will have my eyes open.
I'm not leaving the side of this vehicle.
Can't you smell it? The fear, the glory, the money.
As the camera pans against the workshop, showing you guys disembark, I want to note that you smell all sorts of things on the air. Foods of all sorts, mixed in with oils and burns and sulfur, acrid, and sweet stews, and there's just this brilliant mix of stuff on the wind from every direction coming at you here. And what's more is you can continuously hear some group of some people somewhere cheering. The wind picking up in one direction or another causes tapestries over here and banners over there to flare out, flapping wildly, celebrating some household, some team, some machine, some race beast. All around you, all you see is celebration. All you see around you is everyone's will and effort as they prepare for this great send-off this day. And as you guys disembark from the bus, stepping out onto this street where you see all these workshops around. Barium's crew makes their way off the bus as well, actually, because, I mean, they're here, obviously, for a reason. And the camera pulls back from where your workshop sits at the race side, and there off to the side we can see the actual race line and the box from where they're going to be sending you guys off. And you can see a large procession down the actual raceway itself. And then as the camera pulls back, we can see the whole of the stretch of that road turn into nothing but the fucking horizon of Kalimshan as it is. And off into the distance, as it crossfades across each of you, looking down this long stretch and realizing, this is it. You're here. And the camera pans across to show the bus gleaming in the background as the little bit of sunlight splashes in upon it, leaving your reflection stark and your faces staring into the space that you're about to overtake. What do you do? You have about, there's a race official that comes by. He's dressed in mostly like a toga and sashes, denoting his stature as a race official. He comes by, he's got like a large hourglass in his hand that he keeps holding aloft, and he says, 1 hour to race assembly, 2 hours to send off. And he's walking between, there's actually a bunch of them, but this guy's announcing as he walks past, and you can see a couple of representatives making their way towards various workshops. One walks in eventually towards you guys, but this is about 15-20 minutes, half an hour after you guys arrive. So just real briefly, is anybody doing anything specific now that you've arrived here?
I'll look back at my my team, my crew. Well, 1 hour, that gives me plenty of time to do what I do best. If anyone wants to cause a ruckus and lend me a hand, I encourage it. If not, fear not, I will deal with this myself.
Ooh, I want to.
Well, yes, Mo, you could definitely be a help. If you wouldn't mind distracting some of our friends in the other camps with something, well, I do a little reconnaissance, let's call it.
Friends?
Yes, friends, Mo. Just do what you do
Uncle and
best
nephew?
and annoy people.
I can do that.
Thank you. That's a good little one, yes.
I don't like how you're saying that.
There's nothing to like.
I'll smirk at him and wink, and then flip the hood over my head, and I'll start sneaking around the yard looking for things to sabotage or steal or anything.
That's fine. You do immediately notice that there are official raceway guards. And they're dressed pretty well. They're dressed in like a light chain mixed with studded leather that bears the markings of several of the houses, like sponsors down their back.
Okay.
They actually carry firearms, full on. As you observe upon them, each one of them has a small hand cannon strapped to their belt.
Okay. Do I notice any rather imposing teams nearby us, like teams that were like other than the Drake Wars?
Fair.
Anybody that we can notice is wow, that team's got a lot of money, they're going to be a good team.
Yeah, so you actually notice that the Thieves Guild, the Ostatak family here in town, has an entry, much to your surprise. It's a sleek-looking model that is reminiscent of the 1980s Batmobile, but with fat dirt tires, if you can imagine it. There's crap, what's their name here? Hang on a sec, bear with me. Oh my god, I'm failing so hard. Where did this go? You're in here, I swear to God. You recognize a bunch of the various noble houses. What the fuck? Fuck off. Twitch app running in the background. You recognize a bunch of the noble houses from around Memnon that have come out, but it quickly turns into a miasma of all sorts of families and houses and guilds up and down this place of varying statures, and it literally is just a rainbow of varied organizations that you have a tough time recognizing. You know many of the famous ones from around Kalimshan. Like the whole of the desert, you have to realize, has come out for this, and everybody who's anybody in this country has come out to kick some ass, best they can.
Okay. Could I approach the thieves' camp and greet the guards or whoever I see there in the thieves' camp language?
I'm right behind him.
All right. Sorry, could you repeat that?
I just want to approach the thieves' camp and
The Ostax.
greet whoever I run into, whoever I see first there in thieves' camp language.
For sure. The Ostax is who you're approaching here, and
Yes.
as you come in upon their tent, they've got two large ogre guards on either side, dressed in leather, each one of them, as they fold their arms, looking down towards you as you approach. You can see inside the workshop as the machine itself has pretty much like half its body panels taken off, revealing its interior and some of its inner workings. And you can see that it's got what looks to be two large power plants back to back, and then behind that vehicle, you can also see that they've got a pair of light trucks that have stacks of barrels with them, and they have like shielded shielded coverings around them. That said, where am I here? Sorry. That said, the fellows look at you as they look back inside and they look back towards you, and the one says, "What is your business?"
Knock, knock, friends.
The one ogre comes in towards you, stepping in close as he unfurls a large cudgel, and he says, "Yes, knock, knock. What is it?"
Well, I couldn't help but notice your flags and that you represent Thieves Guild, and I just wanted to come by and introduce myself. I'm not sure if you've heard of me, but I am Orion Triggerfinger, the Sand Kraken. I am a renowned thief in these areas and a former pirate captain.
The one ogre across from the other looks towards you and says, "It is the Sand Kraken." The fellow with the cudgel puts it away and says, "The Sand Kraken! Ah, yeah, the Sand Kraken. I am so happy. Look, everyone, the Sand Kraken." The ogre across from him says, "Yes, everyone, the Sand Kraken."
Yes.
As you
I'll
look
repeat
upon
them
them, and you look, and the camera pans against you saying this, and it shows the dudes in the background, and the workshop is completely undisturbed, continuing whatever they're doing without paying any attention to what's going on with you and these two ogres. And the one looks over towards the other, and the one looks down at you, and says, "Nobody cares."
That is fine. One day you will. But for now, I just wanted to stop in, introduce myself, and we have a team running in the race. My crew, through Pasha Khan. And
Can I help you? A small
yes.
elven fellow walks forth as he dusts off his hands and wipes himself against his coveralls. The ogre, suddenly surprised, looks over towards him and then at you, and then at him and simply steps to the side, bowing out as he folds his arms and continues his stance as the elf walks forward. What can I help you with?
It appears you are someone of high esteem in this camp, yes?
He gives a simple nod and then says, "What is it you need? I'm very busy." You can see this fellow is covered head to toe with various specks of grease. His hands are filthy. He's got matted grease in his long brown hair.
It appears you are quite busy. Yes, I simply wanted to stop by and extend my regards on behalf of my crew.
Who are you?
I am Orion Triggerfinger, the Sand Kraken, and we are running in the race under the Pasha Khan. And who are you, may I ask?
My name is Bartok Ostatok. I am a member of the Ostok family, yeah?
Yes, you are a member of the Ostatok. That is glorious. Yes, I happen to be with you myself, and I just wanted to let you know if there is anything that we could mutually agree upon during this race. Definitely reach out. It is good to have allies, for there are many enemies within this field, as I'm sure you know.
He looks over towards his ogres some further and then looks back towards the workshop and then looks down at you. Okay, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
You represent Pasha Khan. Who Pasha? Which Pasha?
The Pasha, I honestly can't remember. All I know is his name is Pasha Khan. That's what I call him, okay? I'm too busy to remember his name. He's just a fellow that pays me.
I know him.
Oh, yes, Mo. Mo. What is his name?
I use minor illusion to show him his face.
Yes, please, look at Mo. This is the Pasha I speak of.
But I secretly add like a huge ass mustache on him.
As you display the Pasha to him, he looks at the fellow for a moment, and after a brief second with a quizzic, screwed up face, he says, yes, I know this man. This is Al-Jabbar.
Yes, that's the one I see on my pay stubs every time. Yes, Al-Jabbar.
Hamid Al-Jabbar? Hakim
Yes.
Al-Jabbar?
Yes,
Hakim.
we run with him. Yes.
This is Hakim Al-Jabbar. He gives a nod.
Yes, that is him.
Okay.
So if there's anything we may be able to do for you, or if there's anything of mutual benefit to the both of our teams, please reach out to me, Orion, and we'll make sure it comes to fruition.
The Sandcracker,
Yeah, the Sand Kraken.
who works for
Kraken.
Hakim Al-Jabbar.
And yes.
Okay.
I can help you too.
I appreciate
Yeah.
you coming by, Cracker. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. I will be off then.
Yalla. He gives a nod towards the ogre as he walks away from you. And he says, "It's been a pleasure." And he goes back to the workshop as you can see it. He's pulling gloves back on to get back to work. And the ogre says, Okay, time for you to go.
I'll take my leave with Mo.
Those are nice friends.
Yes, they are very nice. Now, Mo, would you like to have a little fun before this race begins?
Okay.
All right, well, there's this little thing I always wanted to try. I'll look around for a vehicle where I can see a fuel, somewhere I can open up the fuel, like a gas lid.
Are you, I don't quite understand. On what? What's a gas lid? Sorry.
Like the gas cap on your car, where you
Yeah.
flip it open? Do I see any vehicles around with one of the, something like that, where they fill up the fuel, refill?
There's a place to pour sugar.
Or where he
No,
wants
fair
to
enough.
be.
I want to stress that nobody is leaving their vehicles just unattended.
Damn.
Nobody is stupid here. That way. Nobody's leaving their shit for it to get fucked with.
What about us?
That is an excellent fucking question, Benny, my man. And let me tell you, I'm really worried for the party that way. So my next question is, in fact, to follow up on what Ben just stated, is who's doing what outside of what Orion and Mo are doing?
Sorth is actually running perimeter.
My man.
I'm checking and rechecking straps and making sure everything's secure inside and kind of performing what looks like a really practiced ritual before departing on a journey.
Right on. Valcor would be proud. And so, Barium and Laz, what about you guys?
Barium's doing his, walk arounds, making sure everything's right, making sure only authorized personnel are around our bus.
That's fair. That's fair.
And Laz is trying to rig up his gear to make sure he has access to everything that's sharp. Yeah, if I'm gonna be basically manning the cannon because I'm the only one that's big enough to do it, making sure that I've got ready access to all the hand axes and mounting hopefully a place to keep my now 2 great axes at hand and ready to rock is kind of my goal.
Elker would also be proud.
The camera's going to pan against you guys as the montage of your preparations continue along. Orion goes out with Mo and conducts a bit of fuckery. And what was the next stage of that fuckery there? Tell me about that for a brief moment.
Mo, do you by chance, do you know any tricks? Do you know how to dance? Fireballs or something? Anything. What are your skills?
Tell me about your balls.
Yes. I can definitely throw fireballs.
Roll those fireballs.
Now, perhaps we could stroll. I'll say this quietly to him. Perhaps we can stroll by the Dragor's camp. You could cause a little dance or fireball or fire dance distraction, and maybe I'll slip a little surprise under their tent, and we can just depart.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
you go out front and I'll circle around back. And when I see whatever you're doing, I will do my task. And get out quickly.
Okay. So I'm gonna light myself on fire. I have fire resistance, and I have control flames, which will maybe get them away from my important parts. The fire, at least. And I'm gonna run to the camp that you showed.
And can I stealth around the back and
Okay.
just wait to see if there's an opening in the guard that I can chuck one of my explosives under their tent and run away?
No, that's all good. Okay, so you slip around. There's the camera pans against the scene whilst, are you using? Okay, so you all right?
Just
you
one of my little explosives with the
No,
shrapnel.
you're doing your thing. I'm not worried about you.
Oh.
You're easy peasy. That's pretty straightforward stuff that I can handle. So let's talk about this, Ben. So Mo ignites himself and runs into the Dragor camp. That's what I'm understanding.
Maybe not into it.
I'll stay like at the perimeter, like looking at the guard, like help me.
Oh, okay, fair enough. One of the guards runs forward and pees on you.
Oh damn.
Not to get weird or kinky, but that happens.
Just peeing on a kid.
And like,
You can hear him shout something in Kalashite from under the helmet. Let's just say Mo knows enough to know that the guy's like, I'm sorry, I don't have any water. I am
And
doing
then,
my best. And you can feel like he's really putting his all into forcing that stream. Like, there's a lot of force there. This is really awkward and weird and terrible, but
I
it's
control
happening.
like a few strands of fire and just like touch him a bit, bro, with the fire.
Yeah, you burn his pee-pee, and he shouts in pain and pulls back. And he says, "Oh my goodness, I am doing my best." And then he redoubles his efforts, feeling like he needs to be heroic. He just, he doubles down. He does his best to push as much as he can in upon you for your benefit. This is for you. He's doing this for you. This is all to help you. It's like if you were stung by a jellyfish. I understand that this is the way to deal with it. It's like, but it's fire.
I'll try to
And I want to say that for anybody nearby, there's just like all this steam coming off this burning child as one of the Dragor guards is just doing his best to douse the child in urine. It's a disgusting scene. I understand that, but I mean, I'm not in charge here. Things happen. I described them.
Oh,
sorry, you were saying?
I try to make the fire look as big as possible. Then I start rolling on the ground. Try to put the fire on
he
me.
starts babbling in Kalashite, speaking about how he must have lamp oil in his urine. He shouldn't be drinking that stuff anymore. And he rushes back towards the. Actually, you know what? He grabs a hold of you, and taking whatever burns as he might, rushes you in towards the horse's trough.
This guy's good. He's a fucking firefighter.
He
I feel
rushes.
bad for killing this guy.
He rushes
I'm not
you
gonna
in
kill him, we're
towards
just
the
gonna
horse's
cause
trough.
I'm
and
gonna like wrap the
tosses you in.
flames around his his
Do I
neck.
do I see an opening to sneak a grenade under the tent flap and run away?
As you rush it, well, 10 flap, eh? Coming in towards the camp, so to speak, the workshop area. The workshop isn't a tent. Like the workshop itself is actually a structure. They do have their tents around. You can totally just throw a grenade like through their window though, or something like that. I don't know.
I just want to cause some havoc and run away. That's all. So maybe.
I mean, they've got tents. It's just their actual workshop. The workshop is actually a building that you get. It's not just your tents. You get an actual structure that you do your preps in.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Do I see like a high window that I could like lob it through and just run
Thoroughly,
away?
yeah, totally there is.
Okay, I'm gonna do that then. I'm gonna check one of the small explosives with the shrapnel. Just chuck it through the window and just fucking.
Like one of the glass bottles from earlier?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Throw me a d6. Let's see if you get through the window. Is that triple my own feet here? Really?
Does somebody wanna?
Somebody inspire this boy.
Please
Fire it.
Oh my god, I rolled a 1.
The Red Russian Dawn.
Okay.
Oh
3.
man.
Oh my god.
3 might be good, yeah. Oh man. I never had to roll a d6 to throw something.
Well, if you get caught, then I'm not gonna help you.
Well, no, this is just a throw it. I haven't even done the got caught part yet, I don't think.
Is that after inspiration?
Yeah, I rolled
Yeah.
a 1 first.
Oh
A
shit.
1 and then a 3?
Yeah.
It's a D6. It's not so bad.
Oh,
it's
oh.
okay bad.
So, what did we end up rolling here?
A 3.
Wow. Sorry, what was that for?
That was for throwing the bottle through the window. You said to roll
Right,
a d6,
yeah.
so I rolled a
That's
3.
terrible. So, yeah. Sweet. So, it ends up clipping at the edge. It looks like it's going to be perfect. It's one of those. Where it looks like it's going to be
Gotcha.
perfect, and it hits the edge, at the bottom edge. What ends up happening is it splashes in a river of flame that curls around, and it produces the shape of a middle finger. And then it all froths and falls to the ground in a small burning patch, unceremoniously impressing nobody.
Did anybody see it or no?
You hear the flames and nothing else, unfortunately. To your dismay, nobody seems to have cared.
Oh my god.
Okay.
This is literally outside the back alley of the Dragors. Like, all the workshops are facing towards the inner street.
Right.
And then you've got the
Everybody
camp and
focuses
shit.
the main street.
Yeah, and you're in the back alley of this shit, right? So, I'm
Yeah.
just saying. And then there's
It's like I'm breaking like Coke bottles against a building.
Kinda, yeah. And there's like a little front. It's a D6 of flame, and I mean, that's just something, I guess. But at the end of the day,
Right,
it's not a lot.
Okay, Orion's gonna be pissed at this.
Plus, you look like a kid just fucking throwing
true.
Molotovs at a building. Like, fuck you
So
guys!
Orion's just gonna be absolutely furious that he fucked this up, and he's gonna grab a grenade and then he's gonna try and throw it again.
Alright.
Because he's mad.
I mean, why not, right? The bottle didn't work out, so let's try a high explosive.
So would this be a D6 as well?
The grenades? Grenades are 5d6.
Would I roll? Okay, so
You still roll to throw. Yeah, and it's 10 or better.
Oh, on a D20.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I got a 16.
Alright. So it sails through the window easily enough.
And I'll stealthily run away. I don't even want to hear anything. I just want to fucking run. If that's possible.
That's fine. The explosion occurs inside the Dragor's workshop as you then a moment later as a chain reaction takes place between all their barrels one after the next, setting themselves aflame amidst all their fucking tools and workshops and peoples and personnel. A terrible, terrible thing happens within the Dragor's workshop there. Right at the back.
Terrible.
All of the whole of the backside goes up in flames. It doesn't so much explode outwards, but it slowly cracks and sinters and explodes out in patches as various collections of fuel barrels blast apart as you realize that you actually hit their fuel stocks.
Boom.
As the camera pans against your face, it's like close up against you, running away from the Dragors where it's blasting, and then occasionally you look back to admire your handiwork and then continue on. You can hear all sorts of noise as the various guards suddenly spring into action, and ahead of you, to your dismay, you can see a search party suddenly manifest as though it was badly spawned with Cyberpunk 2020 whatever logic. And they're just there, man. It's fucking bullshit, but there they are, and they still haven't fucking patched it. Like, go figure. Whatever, right? Who cares anymore? But the hype's over, and they're forgiven, and we'll all pre-order the next one. Fuck.
That's right.
I mean, people keep showing up for my D&D games, so whatever.
So they're right in front of me?
So I was saying, yeah, so this search party manifests, and they're not immediately coming towards you. Again, you're down a back alley. But they start flashing lights from what seem to be strange crystalline structures that they have that look like lanterns, actually, but wands that they're flashing about. So they're like flashlights, but they're not focused. It's more like an omniscient. They haven't got like a cone around it, and there's like, you know, mirrors and focus and shit. It's literally just like a light stick they're holding out like a wand and flashing about to kind of see things. And as they flash it and in towards you, to your surprise, it fucking flourishes out for like 60 feet from this thing. It's so fucking bright. Like it's a sun.
Okay.
It's a sun on a stick.
Okay, I'm going to can I tell if they haven't seen me then yet? Like the light hasn't.
So I need you to roll me stealth is what it comes down to, if you could.
Okay. Oh, fucking 28.
All right. You immediately go prone against the ground and commando crawl over towards some cover, finding yourself easily in the shadows, hidden from view. The camera pans for a moment against you as you hold steady against the light, contrasting your shadowed face as you peer around towards the many individuals who are conducting a procession, dutifully scanning about for whatever might be, and then moving along to the main street to continue their duties. The light disappears a moment later.
Okay. Can I peer out carefully and make sure there's nobody else around, and then attempt to stealthily head back towards the main road and kind of compose myself and act like I don't know what happened, and start heading back to my camp, hopefully.
Okay. As you scan about, carefully looking for whomever, there's nobody. Realizing you're alone, you slink away and the camera simply stays static as you slip out of the frame. Signifying a moment later with the crossfade your arrival upon your own workshop. As you come in upon, you can see all of whomever is actually in there. I want to mention that anybody who's here can see all sorts of activity happening in the streets. You can hear a state of emergency taking place as guards are rushing in upon where the Dragor's workshop is smoldering and smoking. Various race officials are walking around to the various stalls, one after the next, handing out a pink piece of parchment. Dyed raspberry pink.
When I arrive at camp, I quickly...
Rico simply walks forward. What the hell? In all the hells is this? No! And he looks towards the official as the official's holding it aloft. He's just got a placid look on his face as he holds the pink slip up.
What does it say? What is that?
Rico looks over towards you. The race is delayed.
Ah,
Sabotage.
For fuck's sakes!
And he grabs a hold of the slip. And he looks upon it, throws it down on the ground. Fuck! And he walks off.
Why would they delay the race? What has happened?
As the official looks up towards you and he says, there was a sabotage. And he walks off.
Whoever did that is ruining this for us all.
What kind of sabotage?
Barium comes running out to see this all. And I guess chases after the official to ask this. And the official simply stops and looks back towards you. There was a detonation of fuels. It's terrible. And he walks off.
We may have to ask around to get more details than that. It looks like he's fairly busy. Has anybody seen Mo?
I'm taking one shower.
So the camera
he left
pans,
with you.
actually just cuts to show you being toweled off, burnt to some degree still from the heat that the flames are putting off. It's not like directly on you. But you've taken a couple points of damage over the course of this regardless, because you did still set yourself on fire. Let's face it, you're resistant. You still take half damage.
Okay. How much?
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't even run the damage, but I was gonna say like 10 damage. If I rolled it, it'd probably be more, but you set yourself on fire for a while there. Actually, what is the damage of that? Create flame. Is it word? Control flame or whatever the fuck.
I just use Firebolt then to let myself on fire. So it's just a 2d10. Want me to roll for damage right now?
Gonna roll a double 10.
Sorry, how much damage is a roll? Is the
2d10.
flames? 2d10? Jesus, look for VH Christ. Do you want to just go with the 10 damage then? What do you want to do? Why don't you go ahead and roll it? Fuck
I
it.
can roll for the damage, and then we can have that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I got 8.
Cool.
1 plus 7.
Excellent. With that said,
Rules are so lucky. Is wild magic kicking right here?
We can leave it at 1 round's worth of damage. I'm good with that. Sure. Why would there be more than 1 round of damage? So with that said, you take 8 points, like a champion. Sorry, you take, I guess, 4 points because you're resistant.
Uh-huh.
Okay, terrific stuff. With that said, you get doused out by the fellow and toweled off. And then suddenly everything in the workshop explodes out the back. The vehicles and whatnot
shit.
rock
You're in
back
there?
and forth. Rock back and forth as there's a sudden draft of air and noise, and shrapnel hurtles forward. Flame froths, heat pumps past you. The whole of the atmosphere grows very silent, and then very loud, and then very silent. As you watch towards the guard, and he looks over towards the flames, and you watch as his face illuminates ever so brightly as the flames come in towards you and him, and they wash past him as they strike upon you, and you're blasted into the water. As he screams, and suddenly you hear nothing but you hear overhead the muffled sounds. There's a strange illumination to the place as the flames explode past you. And as you come to the surface once again, looking around the workshop, you can see the fellow smoldered on the ground, barely clinging to life. The workshop is black from soot. There's people screaming and running around, shouting orders this way and that. There's waters being trucked in with a large several large carts coming along with several large barrels, and from those barrels they have massive hoses that they hook up, and they start to pump water out of those barrels through the hoses and onto the flames, which they slowly start to douse. But as you're situated there, the burning trough for the horses around you, as you're situated in all of the flaming wreckage silhouetting you behind you, the vehicles you can see, they're largely unscathed, and you can see that there's still barrels of fuel all around the place, but whatever was stacked at the back of this place has been fucked up. In fact, the whole of the back of this place is smoldering and melted and just a slag pile where once was a wall. And as you watch out towards the horizon of the city street here, and all the people's assembling as they're rushing in and crowding around and looking and pointing and jeering and what is this, and oh my god, you see a large black-robed, bald-headed figure who walks in amidst everything, and he simply saunters forth, and he stands and he looks at it like this, and he looks over towards his people, and he says a couple words that you can't hear to somebody who looks almost as well dressed as him, as he simply gives a shake of his head, and then he turns around with a flourish of his cloak, and he starts shouting out to everybody, "Get away! Let us clean this up unless you are helpful! Get away!"
Can I pretend to be unconscious?
You, suddenly just splash back into the water, I guess. Sure. You ought to
I can
fish.
definitely breathe underwater. I got this.
Okay. So what do you want to do? Do you want to leave this place? Are you hanging out? Or do you want some soap? Do you want a bath or something? I don't know,
Well, hopefully that explosion heated off the piss on my body, and the
Almost
water
a bath.
would wash the rest of it off. But I'm just gonna like float in the water, just like face down, as long as I can, just holding my breath. Hopefully somebody sees me. If not, then at the end of my breath, I just have to like get up and walk to somewhere where I can breathe and pretend to be unconscious.
Taking a bath won't erase the knowledge that somebody peed on you. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna put it out there. Like, you will always know that you got peed on.
It's not the first time.
Oh my god.
Not gonna be the last either.
Yeah, probably not.
In the end, are you sticking around this place? Or are you fucking off? What are you doing?
I'm gonna try. I mean, like, is anybody watching me?
No.
I think they're too worried about the explosion.
Alright, I'm gonna walk over to the guy who saved me. Just look down at him. Is he like severely wounded?
He's really burned, but he's being attended by now.
I was being attended to.
Yeah.
Alright, so I can just slink away then. Nobody know I was there. Okay, so I'm just gonna dip then.
Roll
Move
stealth.
back to camp.
Roll stealth.
Ask for some perfume.
Roll
gotta
stealth.
sneak out.
Mo, roll stealth.
Okay. Good rolls, good rolls. Got 13.
Eating and GMing is hard.
I'm always hungry too.
Well, that said, though, you slip off to the side easily enough, as everybody is distracted, like we can see with the flames in the back of the place. However, as the camera pans against the place, showing you leaving, the truck's to the one side, and we see the bald-headed man with a large black eyebrow raised look over towards the side where he sees you, your silhouette, walking away.
How much of my clothes is left from the explosion?
You're more or less fine, actually. Again, from the trough, you were soaked head to toe. Flames passed over. If anything, you lost a little bit of hair on one side.
Let's continue walking then, cause I don't notice this guy, right?
I hope not.
If I did, actually, no. I'll say that for you, Ryan. I'll give you a big hug.
You're back. You're coming back to camp.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a big hug.
Okay. Actually, you know what? Orion will rush over to you and give you a hug. Because he was so worried about his little Mo.
Alright then. Well, do I see him coming? Do I see him coming?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna take off my shirt to throw it in his face. Hopefully that'll blind him for me to slip past him.
What is this? What happened to you? Where were you? One moment we were together, and the next.
I was hanging out with friends.
Oh. Oh, that's good. You look a little crispy. What happened?
I was hanging out with friends.
Okay,
Also, some
alright.
some douchebag blew me up.
What? Who would do that? That is awful. I did hear about some sort of sabotage. You'll have to tell us. Come back to camp. Let's tell the group about it.
Yes, it felt like friendly fire, but it should be okay.
I'll start heading back towards the camp after rushing to greet Mo.
So the camera pans back towards where Rico is informing everybody else of what's happened.
Oh, we found Mo. Mo's here.
The camera pans against Mo and trucks back to show the rest of you.
Has the guy who handed off the pink slip left already?
Yeah, he walked right off. He was like dropping off the pink slip and had other places to drop pink slips off at.
In that case, I walk over to Ryan and I say, "Little one, what did you do?"
What? What do you mean? What did I do? Me and Mo went out to talk to the Thieves Guild, that's all.
You said you were leaving to cause trouble, and
I didn't
trouble.
I didn't say that. I said I was gonna go do some reconnaissance and check out our competition. I didn't say I was gonna cause trouble. Just ask Mo. We were hanging out with friends. I went to go see the Thieves Guild. We were making alliances, forging bonds in the race. We're gonna need help.
I was on fire.
I love the disapproving grunt from Bjorn.
Wait, you were on fire?
Why is that little boy cinched?
Mo, what happened to you?
You were watching him, no?
I was, and then he left me, and then I lost him, and now I found him like this. He said he was hanging out with friends. I don't know what that means, and he kind of smells like piss.
What did you do to him?
I didn't do anything to him. You can ask him himself. I didn't do anything to him. You tell him, Mo. Tell him what we were doing, and then I don't know where you went off to. What did you do?
Well, I was here with my friends because that was part of the plan. And then I decided that I want to be glorious in light.
What does that mean?
What plan?
It was the greatest plan that Orion came up with. Foolproof. Would have worked 24/7, 100%.
I can see it worked well for you.
Well,
You should perhaps not listen to Orion.
Oh, come on. Uncle Orion knows best. Mo, you had a good time, did you not? You had fun?
Yes, especially that big explosion.
I don't know what that was.
Yep, it washed right over me like a wave.
What do you mean? What happened? You need to tell us more here. I'm only picking up little parts of your story. I have no idea what you mean.
Can we go again next time?
For what?
The plan.
What?
Why would I do this again?
Listen, I told you to distract the guards so I could go do some thieving, that's all.
There's a large crash as Rico shoves a shelf over and shit just goes flying. We are supposed to race today. This is a disaster. Am I hearing this correct? And he just gives a wave of his hand. I thought I was here with real. And he walks out of the fucking workshop off into the night.
Listen, I don't know what happened to cause the delay. All I know is I went out to meet the Thieves Guild, and I asked Mo to cause some distractions so I could do some personal business of thieving. It's what I do. I'm a thief, okay? Other than that, I don't know what happened. Now, how long is the race delayed for?
As the camera pans against the scene, the crew looks around at one another and looks at Barium, and then points out towards the door where you guys can see the silhouette of Rico walking away.
Rico, get back here.
He doesn't respond. He just continues walking away, and he's silhouetted by the flames of the Dragor workshop in the distance, just for poetic effect.
Someone should probably grab him.
Oh, I will.
No, Mo, you're probably not the...
We watch as you Sonic the Hedgehog out, Sonic the Hedgehog out the doorway into this street and towards Rico. Meanwhile, what's everybody doing?
Orion, we better stop him. Talk to Rico ourselves.
Yes, I agree. Listen, there's a delay, but we're still in the race. That's the important part. We need to bring that conclusion to him and make him realize.
He's too excitable. We need to calm him down, and Mo is not the one to do it.
No, I agree. All right, let's go.
Can I use hold person to keep him in place?
Yeah, absolutely.
Second level spell. Casting hold person.
Oh shit. He rolls a 17. and
Aw,
just
man.
keeps on
I'm gonna end
trucking.
up driving the goddamn bus again, aren't I?
He looks down at his boots and looks around like something was holding him, and then just continues walking along.
Alright. I'll use mold earth so he can't move as fast because it's
You could literally
Infiltrate.
clamp his legs. I mean, that's a thing. Okay, no. Anyway, you were saying. Sorry, what's the save for that? Your save? Your same save?
yeah, it's a 14.
He rolls an 18.
Oh my god, bro. This guy's so athletic.
Hey, you don't fuck with Rico.
That's not even a bonus. That's just what I rolled, man.
This
Sorry.
tiefling is useless.
Oh, but the
old,
dice
dude.
tell a story, don't they?
Am I
Yeah.
gonna cast fireball on him?
You're gonna light yourself on fire again. It's gonna happen.
Well,
You're
the
rolling
truth
a new
is-
character by the end of this session.
I'll be honest. If he
Yeah.
even if he makes that save, you still win that contest.
Yeah, if he takes half damage, it's still half damage of like
He's still dead. He's 0 level
You're still the
NPC.
driver.
He's
86.
fucked.
Okay, I'll just keep trying to run towards him, I guess. My tiny little legs.
And with that
He has
said,
little legs too.
you rush after him. You close the distance easily enough. Is anybody else giving chase as well?
I mean, does Laz have any part in what's going on here? I
That's
mean,
up to you. 100%.
has anybody called out to me, told me to, like, hey, stop him?
And Barium called Orion. Me and him are going.
Lads, come along, grab him.
But I mean, like, we have two choices. Either Laz can try and make his way over there, or I could just throw Orion at him.
So you're running after him?
Yeah, I mean, if I notice a commotion going on, like, I mean, especially for Laz, having had his job of driving the thing taken away and seeing how well he drove and being kind of a gearhead, yeah, I could see Laz kind of chasing, like, dude, we need you. I could see that kind of wandering out there, kind of grabbing him by the shoulder, fairly forcefully, if I can catch up to him.
All right, fair enough.
With everyone running off, I'm just gonna climb up into my ballista position and keep an eye on the bus.
And so it is. There's a montage of you guys rushing after Rico, catching up to him. Sorth, anything specific?
Actually, would we be able to see the explosion from our bus?
100%. You can. It's right across. It's down the road from where you guys are. Like the road
Okay,
slightly curves, but you can see all the shops, all the workshops along the way.
I'm gonna run into the bus and make sure the food supply is still okay.
All right, fair enough. And I mean, it's still there.
All right, good. With that, I'm
Just tie a cow to the back of it.
Exactly.
Bjorn hasn't eaten it yet.
All right, good. Just making sure.
With that said, though,
With that being said, I'm pretty content and not really caring about the Rico walking off or anything.
right on. Barium's running after him. Barium is running after him. Laz is running after him. Mo is running after him. Orion is running after him. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And Bjorn.
I went to climb up in the ballista and keep an eye on the bus.
Right.
I figure
So-
if he's
so
if
you
he
and
wants
Sorth-
to drive,
You and Sorth are pretty much holding the place down.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll hold
sorry.
it for it.
And
If,
sorry,
if
you
he
were saying-
wanted to drive today, he'll be more than happy to drive tomorrow. He'll be back.
Cool. Wise words. And so on that, as you mumble this up into your ballista roost, camera pans into the city street to show the lot of you guys as a crowd running in after the racer, making his way out through the city streets.
Rico, where are you going? What are you doing?
I am through with posers, he shouts out as he
What do you mean?
continues walking sternly out towards the gate, actually, the race paddock gate. And as he stops for a moment at the crossroads, he just looks at the flames coming off of the Dragor workshop that are visible still in the distance, although slowly reducing in size.
What do you mean by poses? What? We're still in the race. Nothing's happened. Somebody's shop exploded.
Yes, we are delayed. I understand the race is still a go. However, it is now delayed. Possibly by weeks, possibly by months. Who is to say? I cannot believe this. And he simply walks off. Exit stage right type thing. Unless anybody's stopping him or shouting after him. You guys are all there. I mean...
Yeah, I'm jumping on his back.
Like out of Left 4 Dead, just... Alright.
Yeah.
So you rush in upon him and try to jump upon him. Roll me an attack roll here.
Oh, attack?
Well, I mean an attack roll, right?
Can I go ahead first? Because can I grapple and kind of grab one by one hand and one by the other, and just kind of hold him out, looking for Barium to intervene and.
So you just want to
say
stop
something?
Rico.
Yeah, like the idea is just kind of like if Mo's going, grab
You know
Mo,
what? Yeah, no, that's fine.
grab Rico.
As Mo is running in and gets a nat 1, he stumbles over his own feet in the background and lands like pretty much prone on the ground in the dust. As you step in front, and so unceremoniously Mo wipes out in the background as you step in front of him. Your massive form literally just fills the camera, and then it cuts to a side profile of his small form and your massive self, and he just looks up at you. What? I'm going to get a drink. What is it? When the race is on, I will be back. Get out of my way. And he goes to walk around you.
Well, come drink with us. Grab
Oh,
your
fuck
drink
you.
and come back.
This is ridiculous.
Maybe he just
Might
needs.
be,
I heard what I heard. Go fuck yourself. And he walks
you might
on.
be skilled as a driver, but you sure do act like a prima donna.
He turns
Why don't you
around.
start acting like a champion?
He turns around and he simply walks in towards you as he you listen.
Z snap? Is that what we're going with?
As he steps in towards you, I tell you this, that we are here to win this race. But what I see in here is a bunch of reckless fools that cannot control this one idiot who do what? And for what? Why do we do the things that we do? I don't know.
It
I am
wasn't
here to
our
race.
choice to get this 14-year-old kid here, and he's messing around.
Hey,
Who are you talking about?
I'm 12.
Just Laz just wants clarification.
Rico, you're the most veteran person on our team for these races. We need you. Show us how to act. Show us how to be racers.
Throw a hissy fit. Act professional.
He straightens himself out as such and he simply says, "Who are you to say who is professional? I am not you. You are not me. I do not tell you how to do your job. I drive. Do you drive? No. I do not wrench. I do not tweak. I do not bolt and draw steel. This is not my duty. To build the bus, it is my duty to drive the bus.
And we don't expect you to do any of that. But we do expect you to come have a drink with your crew when there is a pit stop. And that is what we are doing because we are building a bond.
He steps in towards you and he leans down close and he says, "Fine.
Good. Now, come on.
Yay.
Let us go and drink then."
You remind me of my friend Rico Suave.
I don't know Suave,
Hey,
but I am not related for first name. That is not how families work in my part of the country. That sounds like an odd country.
Yes, very obvious. Come along, let's go drink over this and learn about each other and how each other works and become a fine-tuned machine.
And so it is. He falls in step with you as you guys head off towards. The camera pans against you guys as you find yourselves, I guess, drinking the night away because, I mean, nobody's kicking you out. As hours pass by, you can see
Want to sleep, by
officials.
the way. No drink.
That's fair.
Laz's liver is bigger than Orion.
You guys can be doing whatever you want to be doing for the next 6 hours, during which it is, I believe, nighttime that you guys got here, or like evening, and it's going into nighttime. The point is we come upon midnight, during the last 6 hours of which you've watched race officials moving up and down the city street, heading towards the Dragors, and then heading towards the race headquarters, and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And there's just all sorts of activity conducting here that you're not quite sure of over the course of the 6 hours. You can check into it if you like. You can always go and tail somebody or whatever the fuck. I'm not going to stop anybody if they want to talk to somebody either. You don't necessarily have to tail anybody. You can always just approach and talk to somebody. I mean, it's 6 hours of shit. But if nobody wants to do anything, let me know.
I would like to hide all of my explosives within the vessel really well hidden. Everything off of me, take it, hide it for now.
Like where? Like in a cache somewhere, somehow?
Yeah, in one of the hatches.
That's fine.
I'm gonna bury it. I'm gonna bury it in the ground underneath the vehicle. I'm gonna dig a little hole and put everything under there and bury it again.
Okay. Like, you can just put your shit in the car, and it's fine.
Okay, yeah, I'll put it in the car in a very... I'll ask Barium if there's any, like, really secure compartments within the vehicle that I could secure my explosives just so they're safe and they don't go off.
Sure, tie one of the compartments shut, but that's not as secure as it's get.
Yeah, I just need to make sure that, Mo doesn't wake up and get into it. You know how kids are. They're always putting their hands on shit and messing around with stuff and biting things. I just don't want him to bite one of these things off and cause an explosion, you know?
If he acts out, it's your fault.
Okay, well, I'll put it away over here. Perhaps, Bjorn, we should go do some information seeking.
Mm-hmm. I suspect they'll be seeking you out for information on their own.
Me? Why me?
It's nothing to do with those explosives you felt the need to hide.
No, I was putting them away. I don't want them to go off and kill us all. That's so hard to believe.
You now know what they can do?
Of course I know what explosives can do. I tested it out before I got here.
Right.
Very well. If you don't want to go with me, then I will just take my spot by the fire and drink with Rico.
Rico looks at the interaction here, having a high insight. He just shakes his head and keeps looking at you. This is what I was talking about.
What do you mean?
It's you. You did this. He just gives
Why
a
does
shake of his
everybody
head,
think I did this?
Picks a fucking bucket.
There's literally no connection to me being there or doing anything.
He just gives a shake of his head.
You left camp.
Amateurs.
Yes.
With Mo. You come back following a huge explosion, and Mo is singed.
And to which Rico turns around and simply looks at you and says, "Fuck that! You not smell it?" And as he comes in towards you, you don't even realize it, and nobody else picks up on it right away with their passive. Does anybody have a passive perception higher than 16?
Mine's exactly 16.
Oh, is it?
Hell no.
Yeah.
Okay. He actually, now that he mentions it, you do realize that he smells strongly of the sort of like fuel that Morsi was putting together. But he hasn't been around any fuel. Has he? And then you think about it as Rico stares at him and then just gives a shake of his head and walks away.
Listen, Mo told you himself. He set himself on fire. That is what he told us.
and then he smelled like piss. I don't know what that would have to do with me and an exploding building. But you can even ask the thieves. I was over there, I saw them, and then I went to go get us some gold.
Rico simply says,
Pirates
"And why
and
do you
cutthroats,
smell like
really
mud?"
reliable.
He simply says, "Why
Weren't
do
you
you
a
smell?"
pirate?
Me?
So?
Oh, I was a privateer, much different.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, much different, yes.
You guys are giving me a headache.
In the middle of it, like if everything else is quiet and they're all arguing, I mean, Laz being a gearhead is just gonna walk the pits, kind of wanting to see what else is out there. I mean, I'll invite Barry if he wants to come, check it out. But it's kind of I want to go see the other machines. I'm just kind of enthralled by the engines, the noise, the fuel, the everything.
As you
Clearly
walk out, sorry, say.
Clearly I'm not welcome here, so I will accompany you, Laz, if that is acceptable.
Let's go, Orion. We need to walk this situation off. You guys need a bottle?
Oh, gladly. Give me 2.
Laz?
Yeah, let's go for a walk. I want to see the other vehicles.
Need something to drink?
I'll take.
Of course you do.
Always up for a drink.
I'll take the 2 bottles from Barium, and
Okay.
I'll trail behind them.
I really wish that this could be in fucking alphabetical order.
And then as I'm walking behind you 2, I'm gonna dump the alcohol all over my clothing out of one of the bottles.
Ryan,
Yes.
fuck all this noise. It's nonsense. People can point fingers, they can argue until they die. It doesn't change a thing. We gotta wait for the race, that's it. There's too much crying going around here.
The fingers are always pointed at me, it seems, but I only do what I do for the best of the crew. That's my saying.
And you know, as long as we're in the race, I don't care. And I mean that with the utmost respect. I don't care. We're still in this race. That's what matters.
So does Laz find anything as he's walking around the pits extremely interesting? That would draw the attention of this large Goliath, bald-headed dude that wants to examine.
Are you
stuff
going
that
with them,
needs
Barium?
attention.
Are you going with them?
Yep.
Okay. Camera pans against the 2 of you walking out of the workshop. It's dark all around.
I'm with them as well.
Orion and Bjorn as well?
No,
I was looking at the workshop.
Okay, Sword
Me,
and Sword?
Orion, and
Laz.
Okay. Sorth and Bjorn, you're still holding down the shop?
Yeah.
Alright, good men. Good men. Lizard men. Lizard men. As you guys walk out into the street, making your way,
making my way downtown.
your dark silhouettes coming into view against the faint and dimming glow in the distance of the many, many torches of the many, many peoples. And of course, they've got light sticks out that they've stuck into the ground. And so there's a great deal of illumination over by the Dragor's workshop. And as you guys head in towards it, you can see the crowd of people milling about and the various race officials who have situated a small triage office. There's a couple clerics addressing people who are burned and hurt by the explosion. There's just a slew of workers, Dragor workers, who they didn't die, but they were severely burned and hurt. And you can see like there's a bunch of these guys lined up on various benches and cots and beds and whatnot as they're recovering, as you know, they're covered head to toe in whatever bandages and
You're
salves and
you're cutting
whatnot.
out a bit there, Dooley.
Yeah, let's turn this down. As they're covered head to toe in whatever salves and bandages and whatnot to help them recover from these severe burns. And there's like whatever wreckage in the background is slowly getting cleaned up. The ogres from earlier, they've got these massive shovels that are actually pieces
Yo,
of...
Dooley, we can't understand you, bro.
I think the music's cutting you off.
No worries. That was really loud. Anyway, so the camera pans against the wreckage in the background, as I was saying, and you can see the ogres are actually using pieces of the broken wall to scoop up all the broken wreckage of the wall and barrels and shit, and collecting them together and eventually shoveling them off to the side. As I said, people are triaged and addressed with bandages, salves, creams, and whatnot in an effort to help out those who suffered whatever damage from the burns. There's a couple bodies. 2 people died in the explosions as they're trucked off, just worker dudes. As they're set to the side, an order sent out for boxes for them. It's all very organized as the scene plays out and the disaster and the wreckage is cleaned up. And people are starting to take reports on what they think happened. There's a couple of bits of gossip that easily travel down to your workshop, and you can overhear people, I should say, easily enough, talk about there was some sort of accident. No one's quite sure how it happened. Some people suspect sabotage. Others are saying it was carelessness. It's hard to say, but something happened. And so it is. There's to be a deliberation. You guys eventually hear. And as several hours pass further, the deliberation comes through. The race is on in 12 hours.
Well, we best get some rest, friends. 12 hours from now, we'll be screaming across the desert in our mettled stallion.
We've plenty of time to drink it up tonight.
How does Rico respond to this info?
Rico, simply put, he sits like this, glowering down at the ground, giving a nod, and then a sigh inwards and outwards of relief, but stern and resolute judgment. You know, it doesn't sit well with him at all. He knows what happened. He knows something happened anyway. And he doesn't know what, obviously, but the point being is he's pissed. But he's clearly relieved that the race is still on. And so as he looks up at the official in this moment, I guess the official would be delivering the news there, and he says, the race will be on in 12 hours. Prepare yourselves. And in this moment, as he hears the news here, he would be saying, "What was it?" To which the race official simply looks at him and says, "It has been deemed carelessness for the time being until other evidence suggests otherwise. But the Dragors, they do not wish an investigation, they wish the race to commence. So with great honor, we have bumped them up to pole position, with the grace of the Coulter family, allowing them the position." So the race official takes his leave a moment later with a quick bow out. And the camera pans against a lot of you guys. And it pans against Orion's face. What's his expression after receiving this news?
Orion at first will kind of go processing what he's hearing. He'll be upset at first, but then he'll realize that this will just make the victory more glorious. So he'll accept what he's heard and nod and then just carry on.
He looks. He's gonna look you up and down, and then walk over towards the machine as the camera pans against a lot of you guys. What do you spend the next 12 hours doing?
Is it in the morning?
It's currently early morning. I'm gonna say like 7, 8 in the morning.
I'm gonna sleep in.
Okay, is that like noon?
Yeah.
All right, cool. What does everybody else do?
Did
Did we go to bed at all?
Hey,
Did we go to bed at all or stay up all night?
that's an
sleep.
excellent question.
That's what he's asking.
See, I could see Laz like upon as he was there when he heard the news, because he's obviously not smart enough to figure out that Orion actually did something over at the other building. Just basically clapping Rico on the shoulder and being like, "Yeah, like we get to let's get this done." Like just being excited about it, not putting any part on top of that. Just like excited about getting to drive, getting to get out there and
That's fair.
be part of the
He's
race.
still
So I don't know
like
if that helps.
he's looking at on the positive side of it. It's like it's gonna happen. It's gonna be great. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Laz didn't put two and two together like Rico has. He's just like, hey, the race is on, we're gonna
Yeah.
go forward, let's
That's right.
yeah. Just
Cool.
bomb it.
It shows. You know what? It shows you hearing this news, and then it shows like a grid montage of you out. You get a beer hat on your head. It's got 2 little hand kegs on either side and a pair of hoses. And it shows you picking out a thing, and then it shows you a second later holding it up. It's a molding of the Dragor race car, and it pulls back and you go vroom, and you're like, yay! And then a moment later you're trying on a T-shirt, and to your surprise, and it totally doesn't. But you stretch it out, and it's got everybody's emblems emblazoned on it, and you're looking for your guys, and you're like, hey, Al Jabbar, and it rips. And then, classic shit. I don't know what else. Fuck.
Just a big meathead, yeah, that's about it.
You're about to leave. You get like all this random shit it shows you with. You're like, yay, look at this. And then you see it. And you can't believe your own eyes, but it's you. There you are. And as you look upon you, you see that it's a little effigy of you sewn together. And there's a bunch of them too. And as you look down upon it, you can see there's a little sign that says Al Jabbar Toys.
This is a little plushie?
Literally.
That's the last plushie.
Oh, I'm totally getting that, like hanging it from the windshield.
As this little basket presents itself, you see that you're being sold for 3 copper apiece.
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh yeah, I'm
it's
definitely
4
picking
copper.
me up.
It's 4 copper. Okay, 5 actually. 5 copper. Half a silver is pretty good for that. Because I'm imagining it's actually a good sized plushie of the what does it say there? It says Al Jabbar muscle.
Yeah, I'm definitely buying mine and carrying him with me. He's coming on this.
And so
you know what? He's not going on the windshield. He is literally going to be straddling on top of the cannon, like from what the hell's the movie? From How I Learned to Love the Bomb from
Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah, Dr. Strangelove.
How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Yep.
Right
Just
on.
strap him on top of the cannon and let it go.
Sounds good. Sounds very good, actually. And it shows you walk back into the workshop with all this gear, and you got like flip flops and shit going. Like you look the tourist, right? Torn T-shirt, the whole bit, beer hat, and you managed to find a safari shirt that has Al Jabbar written along the side of it several times over. Like, why the fuck not? I don't know. But you walk in, and a moment later, it shows you like admiring your handiwork, as it shows the little plushie of you situated on top of the barrel, like so. Yay! So you can't even see it. There's the barrel. Anyway, just holding the still. Barely see that shit. I guess you can kind of see it in this camera, so that works. But point being, though, that happens, and from there, the camera cuts to show the whole of the workshop, and then it cuts to show the whole of the raceway, and then it cuts to show the raceway and Memnon in the distance, and then it cuts to black, and the credits begin to roll. So this was the third session with no combat? No, we had combat last session, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, might be third.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. Well, I
There's the
promise
attack
you
roll.
we'll have combat next session.
That's
Yeah,
good.
we had attack rolls. That counts.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Nah, the anticipation is worth it.
People died.
That's
Wasn't
true
it
too.
only? Was it only 2? How many sessions did we have Mo?
We had Mo for
No,
2.
we attacked ourselves by being in the vehicle and getting thrown around like ragdolls.
That's
So
true too.
That
I
may
mean,
count.
stuff happened.
True.
Stuff happened. That's
There
fair.
was lots of rolling.
That's true.
You know.
So there was activities.
Oh yeah, lots.
How time flies though. And
I did not expect Rico to be as angry as he is about the sabotage.
And on that
What
note,
sabotage?
Sean, would you hate? Was it released?
Like I just said, I think it's pretty interesting to have a driver with morals. It's very happy to be the idiot in the group that's just kind of like, we're just gonna have fun. It's kind of nice.
That's fair. That's fair. Would you like the least? What was your least favorite part? What was your favorite part?
No, nothing. It's the buildup has been great. It's been that slow, steady burn up to what we're walking into. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to finally letting loose and making sure I don't fall my big large ass off the bus.
Fair enough. With that, Rick, would you hate? Was released?
I actually like the entire slow setup that we're going through, because it gives it the appearance that this race is as big as it is supposed to be, story wise. Because if it just popped up and it was already going on, it wouldn't feel as big as it is. This gives it the impression that it's like this took a ton of work from numerous groups to prepare for this. And
does everybody feel that way? I'm gonna interrupt. I gotta interrupt and ask. Does everybody feel that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, right on.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, continue.
If it happened,
I've enjoyed
if
it.
it happened too quick, then it would just feel like it's just some small race.
It would
And,
take away from it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
And
little
I also-
camps and stuff, like the pit stop, like the pit crews working and stuff before the race.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, because that's what you would see at a raceway in real life.
Mhm.
it's been like a slow build over the last 3, but it's not like nothing's happened. But,
Yeah, a lot of interesting shit's been
Yeah.
happening.
Oh yeah.
so
It's like
it's
the
been
build up to a
really,
tournament.
really entertaining.
Yeah.
I think.
All right, fair enough. As you were saying though, Rick.
And I like how the fire was awesome, but there were repercussions and a lot of mixed emotions, and that keeps things interesting, especially that Rico suspects Orion and Mo, although he can't prove it.
Actually, he was saying that Mo and Orion smell the same, and that was all the proof
Yeah.
that he needed. But nobody heard him. He actually said it twice, and nobody heard him, and he gave up. That happened.
It
Right.
makes it.
And then I doused myself in wine, so
That's probably been like one of the most interesting things since this is my first D&D campaign, is how even before Rico, it's like there were always difference in opinions and different actions and reactions to shit. Even though we're supposed to be on the same team, it's like people have their different ideas and agree and disagree with certain aspects.
Mhm.
And Rico is just another one in that mix.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the different paths we take to get to the same goal.
Yeah.
Like Bjorn is totally opposite of me,
Yeah.
but we both want the same thing. And it makes really funny scenarios.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Well, I mean, what I've seen among all that is the fact that like you both do the same thing. It's just Bjorn is willing to be like, I'm gonna sabotage your shit right now. Yeah, I'm gonna walk up and do this. Whereas like you try and do it sneakily, and I hate to say it, but you fail miserably 90% of the time. But Bjorn's like, hey asshole, open the door so I can break your shit. Like,
Yeah, there's nothing glorious about throwing a grenade through a window.
What do you mean?
it's effective.
The explosion was glorious.
Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, Mo was there, man. Mo was on fire, all right? He was in a life or death scenario. He's got an alibi.
Yeah, one of my other characters.
With
do a,
life or death,
really-
I mean, isn't he immune to fire? There's no death there.
No, he's resistant.
Yeah, but
He's resistant.
resistant.
And I'm
Oh, it
nice.
hurts! Oh, it hurts!
In
Ow.
truth, I should have given him like 3 rounds of damage, but I was like, fuck, whatever. And like at half damage, it would have been amounting to like 10 or 12 or something like that, is what I figured. And then I was like, you know what? Why would it be even 1? Who cares, right? So
I'm so glad I rolled a 1 though.
it's funny.
I mean,
Actually.
you slept anyways, so.
That was actually really funny. Sorry. Anyway, we digressed completely there. Alex, how you doing? What'd you like? What'd you hate? What's your part was least?
Yeah, I like the whole. Well, I really liked Lass's scene of wandering around being a tourist. That was hilarious. And then as well, the repercussions of the sabotage was really fun. And I just love the like. I'm picturing this super like stereotypical F1 driver as Rico. Just like,
Yeah. It's kind of supposed to be the dude
Yeah,
that Sacha
like half
Baron Cohen
imagining,
played in Rico,
like a
Ricky
Schumacher.
Bobby.
That is the best explanation of it. Like just the highfalutin, like I don't want to
Yeah.
be part of your antics.
100 fucking percent, 110 fucking percent.
yeah, I'm thinking the I can't remember his name, but from Talladega Nights.
Yeah,
The F1 guy's there.
That's exactly
yeah.
exactly the dude.
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah,
John Gerard.
Teacup
a lot
in
of fun.
hand as
Yeah.
he's driving. No, that's exactly the dude that I'm thinking of. Just mixed with like a Spanish flair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that guy, but Spanish. There you go. So what else? What was your least favorite part? What did you hate?
What did I hate? I'm having to think real hard about this, so probably nothing.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Cool.
Can't wait for the actual race to start. But
Yeah, I gotta
think
get some more engine noises lined up.
part of why I'm like so excited for it is because the last 3 have been really building up to it.
It's just gonna be it's gonna be like the release of Cyberpunk. A million sessions of preparation. Just a whole fucking
NPC
half a
vehicles aren't
campaign
gonna chase us.
in the race paddock.
Just immediately get murdered by a black dragon.
Fuck your sabotage, just blows you up.
The save file will corrupt and we'll have to restart.
Yeah, I'm gonna put too much loot in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. For $15 a month, I sell backup services.
Backup D&D.
Yeah,
No,
totally,
listen,
totally.
it's gonna be a flashback. Like we all die in a huge explosion, and then you realize that it's all a dream of Gary's.
Oh, that's funny. A simulation. It's a simulation.
He's still riding on the horse in the lab.
That's so deep. Holy shit. That's some next level.
You know what?
stuff.
I'm just going to throw this out there. It occurs to me that I could always have Gary come back because somebody found his brain.
Yeah.
That could happen.
Barium has his processor.
That's true. Actually, no,
And his
that's
foot.
That's 100% true.
Yeah, it got his foot.
No, the Kenku had his foot, and then he.
Oh yeah, and he
Oh.
Shoot.
I keep asking about that, and nobody seems to care. Nobody's answering
I
me.
forgot about that.
No, that's true, actually. The truth be, though, is that the Dragos just didn't do anything about it. They're aware of it and they're doing things about it, but they haven't done anything to Hamid Pasha and to Hamid Al Jabbar about it. No one's coming after the Pasha about it. Nobody can necessarily prove what the fuck it was. It was some fucking random Kenku was suddenly trying to and got roasted. I mean, all they know is they have some fucking KFC sitting in some slag heat in their fucking entryway. They have no explanation for it except for now more of their fuel has been destroyed. Someone's out to get their fuel, and of course they fucking know that it's the people that they've been suddenly taking on. And so at this point, there's like, you guys gotta understand, I've got like whatever attitude of theirs developing towards you guys. So they're forced into the stance that they have, and they have ideas of how they're gonna address it. But they've also got their political standing that they're considering, and you guys don't give a half a fuck about your political standing. And so that's where you have a step ahead of them. I'm just metaing all of this for you, so that you guys can understand the approach I have, the philosophy I have towards this. So there is chaos to the madness, or there is order to the chaos, to the madness that I'm presenting here. Anyhow, right on, Alex. Over to Mr. Dobriansky. How are you, sir? Would you like what Jay was released?
I loved how you introduced us, like getting into the race. How it was like, all right, we got there. It was this huge epic scene, sweet music in the background, and you're like, all right, there's only 1 hour to go, and then Orion's like, let's see what we can do. Fucks up the whole thing.
1 hour.
Delays the entire race again. Seems to be a common thing he does. Gotta love it though. I kind of actually really like the conflict between all the people, and now that we're going to be stuck in this bus for who knows how long, and we all have like tension amongst ourselves.
This is going to be interesting, actually, and I've had campaigns like this before, but I'm really curious to see how this one goes. I'm really excited for it, actually.
Especially with Rico and how he reacted to the whole situation. I think that's going to add a nice spin to things.
Yeah, especially since you guys kind of need him. And then the question becomes, what if you met somebody that you could potentially replace him with? Would you take the risk? You know? And so I think it'll be fun to see where that potentially goes. So yeah.
Yeah, overall,
we need him. Sorry.
Oh no, man, go ahead. We definitely need him.
I was just gonna say we need him, and Barium's the type of person that hates all the extra emotional bullshit. So that's going to start frustrating him in the process.
Fair. So, what'd you hate, Alex? What would you like the least?
I actually can't say I hate anything. I think it's been like a great ride all the way through.
Cool.
I'm excited for the next session.
Fair enough. Cody, what'd you like of Jacob's Sports least?
This was a good one, a real good one. There's too many good parts to really pick one. But like the main one that I really enjoyed was messing up that throw, and then I was like, you know what? Let's give it another shot. What do Orion do here? And he would throw a bigger explosive again. That was my favorite part. I did not expect the whole building to explode like that.
With me inside it.
Yeah, I did. I was hoping for just like shrapnel. Oh my god, what's going on? But no, it was like fucking boom, walls exploding, people dying. It was okay.
And people crying.
That was good. That was awesome. I think it played really well into who Orion is. Just kind of like this ball of chaos. I mean, other than that, I didn't really hate anything other than the fact that my consequence for that action was allowing the Dragors to take the lead right off the bat. But you know what? It is what it is, and that's just part of the game. You know, actions and consequences.
Fair. Cool. Benny boy, would you like what Jay was released?
I like the piss. It was pretty interesting how you made that character up. When I just like randomly set myself on fire to try to distract. The funny part is like as far as I know, I've only managed to distract like one person. So I wasn't very useful to Orion at all. My rolls were pretty lucky as always.
I suppose I could have got into more of a description of the people in the background getting involved in the observation and then getting back to work. Being like, hey, that guy's on fire. Yeah, and someone's dealing with it.
Yeah, a very interesting way to deal with it.
In the end, he did drag you into a trough, but I guess in all sensibilities, that might have been his first response.
Mm-hmm.
But in truth, I was going to consider that would just be his response. Like, he would just be a dick and literally walk over to you and try to piss on you to put you out. But then I tried to make it funny, and I guess it became awkward. But just for the record, it was meant to be cinematically terrible. But then I decided to turn it into a joke, and now it's, a bad joke.
I don't know, it's pretty funny to me.
Alright, as long as it was funny. Because it was meant to be. And if those of you at home are offended by it, well, I guess I'm sorry. Hashtag not sorry, let's be honest. And with that said, what else? If that was what you liked, what did you not like?
I would say, it's not really I didn't like, but like it was a mild inconvenience about how like sometimes I can't hear you, all that stuff.
Yeah, fair enough, and I'm sorry about the excessive volume. I could barely hear the music myself, and I wasn't thinking about, hey, I'll bet you it's really, really, really loud for them. So, my bad. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Cool. I like the pacing of the adventure. I hate that there was no combat. I was hoping to get the race off. I didn't mind the sabotage, but at the same time, I wasn't necessarily sure how to address it. There wasn't really any security in the back alley. Nobody wants to fuck with the Great Race, so nobody expects that. At the same time, everyone supposedly has their own security, and I'll admit this was a shortcoming of theirs. And so lessons learned, expensive lessons at that. But with that in mind, yeah, I think I like where it's going, and I like the development of the story so far. And I think the 3 episodes of build up, as everybody's saying, is cool. And I'm very I'm happy, and I feel blessed that everybody feels that way as well. I very much look forward to the next session and having the actual race take off. I'll admit I've been looking around for like toy vehicles to kind of kit bash together to make stuff, and I've failed to really find anything, so I've got a major shortcoming thereby for ways to represent the race, given my limited range of scale appropriate vehicles. I have a shit ton of Hot Wheels, but I don't have anything that I can put your minis into. Although at the same time, I can put your minis on the bus as it is. But the bus itself isn't even really to scale, I don't think. I'm not sure. I can't remember even what the measurements of the bus are offhand. But with that being said, good job, everybody. Everyone can take, I guess, another 400 experience for the session. Wait, what level are you guys currently?
5.
5. You get 400 experience is fine in this case. I just didn't really do much of fuck all.
Drank a few beers.
Cause problems.
Drove out to a place. It was epic in setting the stage, all the same. So I'm glad everybody feels good about the build up.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice to hit the gas off the line right at the beginning next session.
I need more dirt noises. I need to like play dirt on PlayStation and fucking record the audio off that. Anyway, I get a sore throat if I'm trying to do the Foley for hours at end playing D&D with you guys. So, okay, and then you around that.
And then you just lose your voice.
Yeah,
and
it's
we're
straight
all
up,
sitting
man.
here.
I play a lot of D&D, and so I have to do the engine noises. I don't do them anymore, though. I don't do much of anything anymore. Anyway, I'm glad everybody had fun. It's been my pleasure once again with you, my fantastic palette of personalities that is my plethora of players. Again, to be your dungeon master, your entertainer, your storyteller, your guide on another evening of adventure. And until next time, your 20s always land on 20. You don't have to go, but I release you all the same. It's been a pleasure, everyone.
Yeah. Nice session, guys.
Otherwise, if anybody wants to say anything, feel free to hit it. Any viewers, any questions?
Well, I got a question.
What's that?
How does wild magic work? Like, when's it proc?
When does it happen?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, you can cast spells without having enough slots, and it'll incur wild magic. And if I can't remember the exact variables there. I think it's like you roll a you roll a d20, and a 1 or under 10 or something like that causes wild magic to go off. At which point you roll a percentile, and you pick one of the various effects from the wild magic table, and they're all over the place. They really are.
So I can continue casting magic even with no slots?
You'd have to look at the description. I think it's... I don't remember what the variables behind it are. It's something to that effect, though. But like I say, you'd have to look at that up. Wild magic isn't that complicated.
It just says that whenever he casts a first level spell or higher, you can tell him to roll a wild magic dice. And then on the 1, he rolls on the D100.
It's not just...
Oh, shit.
It's not at random, though.
No, it just says once per turn, the DM can have you roll a D20 immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell of first level or higher. If you roll a 1, roll on the wild magic search table.
It seems
Just cast
odd.
a random spell.
Any spell.
It does like all sorts of weird shit.
It really does. It just seems odd to me that there's no actual causality for it.
And it's at the whim of the DM, it seems.
Interesting.
Huh.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like there's one where your hair falls out but grows back within 24 hours.
Okay.
Or you could turn yourself into a sheep.
Cast Fireball as a 3rd level spell centered on yourself.
Yeah, that's not a good
Oh
one.
god.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
definitely
terrible.
gonna die if that happens.
You blow up the whole bus.
You're fire resistant.
Yeah, but then the chain explosion and me being in the car.
Maybe. So
It's gonna be dicey.
I thought there was more to this.
yeah.
I swear to God, there was... Huh.
I mean, you can just make up any rules you want. Good idea.
No, clearly, but
You are God. You make the decisions.
it's got to be a game everybody wants to play at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, lectures, philosophy, all that shit aside, I thought it worked differently. That's weird to me that there's no actually...
Yeah, the entire thing's just DM dependent.
Sorry, Rosa here is yeah. Lost my train of thought. Sorry. Yeah, wild magic. I totally thought it worked differently. I thought it was more of a causality thing. This happens, and so that happens. One leads to the other. But so it is. That's not the case. And so here we are. What a journey of discovery that was. Wild magic is decidedly lamer now. Sorry?
Will the race have like is it going to be in legs or is it just like a straight shot to the
So it is in legs that lead from one town to the next. And
Okay.
so I've actually got to fashion a map for you guys there.
Okay.
Something that says, you guys got to go here and then here and then here and so forth. But yeah, it's quite literally a series of several legs leading from Memnon along the shoreline of Kalimshan all the way down and then around back to where Kalim Port sits on the shore.
So, like, in game days, how long would that take?
I think it should take you guys probably like 10 days. So nearly a month. The way the terrain is and the track is supposed to be, if you guys are racing 16-hour days.
My poor soup. It's going to be spoiled.
So then when we land at the end of a leg of the race, we camp out for a few hours or something, and then...
I mean, that's the idea, right? Is that at the end of each of these, 12 to 16-hour stints, you'll be at a new destination.
Right.
And in truth, I should say, there are going to be other towns that you're passing as you race along to get there.
Okay.
But I'm trying to imagine that if you're driving the circumference of the entire desert there. Well, maybe it wouldn't be a month. Maybe it would just be 2 weeks. I mean, how long does it take to travel across the states, right? So yeah, never mind. It wouldn't be a month. It would be like, maybe it's a week. You know what? It's a week. It's a week-long race. It's 5 days, is all it is. And I did mention before that there are more than one sort of championships or tracks, if you will, to the Great Race. You guys are aware that there's like levels of the Great Race, right? Like you guys are doing the first of the Great Race. Yeah, and if you make it here,
it's like a qualifier.
Then you move into another race. So this is a 5-day race that you are going to win, and then you're going to go into another portion of the Great Race. And so that will then have its own however many legs that lead from Kalimport across the southern shore. And then there's one that crosses back up into Memnon. Okay,
it's like the Tour de France.
Yeah, like literally.
A race inside of a race.
Yes, sir. So you guys are due to actually return to Memnon in, I guess you should say, 2 10-day. That makes sense to me. If you go a week this way and then a week this way and then 2 weeks all the way back across, sure, a week and a half-ish. Maybe, yeah. So as I was saying, in about a month, you guys will be returning to Memnon. And if you remember, this was actually when Buddy was saying that, what's his pickle? Oppen was supposed to be, the Dwarven engineers were supposed to be coming through Memnon. And for what reason was, in fact, the Great Race. So when you guys get back, provided you've survived on one engine, you guys can pick up another engine.
All right, we got a task.
Yeah. So I think that's a very cool dynamic. And one thing that I've loved about this campaign has been delivering this, and I think I've said it on stream before, is this sort of underdog tale of you boys as a crew coming from, trailer park gangsters through up to this, you know, quasi ghetto fabulous race team, like if the Trailer Park Boys went to the F1.
Like the Jamaican bobsled.
Right? And as a result, we're on the verge of you know, possibly becoming championship material. I think there's something to be said for that sort of story. And I think the fact that it's going over as well as it is absolutely fantastic. And I'm getting a real kick out of this, and I'm glad you guys are having fun with it.
Yeah, that's good.
It was supposed to be I will say a lot more what's the word I'm looking for here? Fucking gonzo than it is. It's fairly gonzo. There's no denying it, but it's nowhere near what I assumed that I would portray, if that makes sense. I just thought that it would be a lot more over the top. Like, I'll tell you this, I expected you guys to be driving 2 months ago. You know, like the campaign was supposed to start and we would have been racing in like a couple sessions. You know, they're gonna pick up an engine and they're gonna get a car and they're gonna build it and they're gonna race. And I told Celeste about it and I'm like, this is how it's gonna be. You know, and I told I don't know, I told a bunch of people actually, this is my new campaign, it's gonna go over like this. But yeah, here we are. Fucking how many weeks in, how many sessions in, how many hours in, and week after week it's been this slow burn leading up to this final moment, you know, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see everything finally launch.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And on that note,
All right.
Yeah.
On that note, I'm gonna call it a night.
again, a pleasure.
It's been fun. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank
See
you.
guys.
Good night.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Julie.
Night.
Cheers.
Later,
I'm
so.
super excited to die to well imagine.
And 7.
Later. And then there was one. If you like what you see, I stream every Monday from 7:30, 8, somewhere in there, whenever we actually get off the ground, until whenever we finish, which tonight is now. Until next time, again, always a pleasure. My pleasure. Your pleasure, I hope. And if it is your pleasure, then I'll see you next time. As I once again adventure forth, blah, 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 people through their fates and destiny as I deliver with their decisions. And of course the dice and etc. It's fun. And sometimes it's very easy, and sometimes it's very hard. And you never really know when it will be which. You're always doing your best to address players' needs, case by case, within the world that you weave. And you're weaving this world with all the threads, all the yarn that everybody else is providing, and it becomes this massive tapestry that you all have. And the point of that really is that, in poetics aside, you have whatever history that you've all built together, and everybody has a different perception or memory of it. Everyone's got a limited sort of window of what they recall of the game world as you've developed it. And so the point of all this really is that as you're developing your world and you're delivering it upon your players and you're trying to provide whatever scope as you play through the story, you have to be cognizant of this, and you have to deliver upon with interest that invests players in the moment while hearkening back to things. You have to be making reference to things. And largely I find I fail thereby. I mean, I'm very progressive in my storytelling. It's very in the moment and moving forward. And the past is the past, unless there's really a reason to be making a reference. But the reasons will come from the future. I never plan to weave back around. And truly, the masters, when it comes to writing, do that. That's what you want to be doing when you're writing, is you want to be looping back around. Conversely, you want to be doing that with a lot of different things, so that you build interest in specific points. And what I don't do is provide any return on any investment when it comes to characters a lot of times, because the story progresses forth, leaving whatever behind. And I wouldn't say that that's for a lack of wanting to. I don't mind having recurring characters, and folks will note that I press upon providing recurring characters, whether they're necessary or not, be they for comedic value or my own entertainment if nobody else is. I appreciate a good NPC. But I digress. In essence, delivering the story and the interest thereby, it's important to keep the investment progressing forth, but again, hearkening back to bits such that you're providing players that pedigree, that memory of why they're doing things as they are. You're propelling based on their previous goals, and reestablishing those goals is important as you continue progressing through your story. With this campaign, it's been largely easy because you have, of course, this common goal, and it has a lot of outwardly direction from the overarching organization that is the pasha and the vizier, the city being this sort of organism that provides a layer of control, if you will, and the players' various interests are woven throughout that. And so giving a layer of control, like I said, that's the city and the pasha providing objectives and doings. Like the Dragors are doing this, so you have to do a thing, right? And so those sorts of quest hooks and directions are easy. Those work well enough. Then you move into things like player interests, and those, you address those as best you can, but you want to weave those in through the story, but you don't want them to be the story or take over the story. It's like in Star Trek, it's got to be the B plot. You have your A plot, and you have your B plot. To be focused about this is to say that, when I'm delivering this, again, I want to be looping back over things. And so what I want to be doing is I want to be writing such that characters recur where they can, based on writing such that it requires them to reappear. I'm sure there's just a slew of characters that I've introduced that the various players remember that I do not, because I've got them as a note in here, and I've never, like, there's an entire family of peoples whom I have not referenced for quite some time. They are the Maldeners. I haven't made reference to the Maldeners in an age. And the question is, well, why not? Are they not important? They are absolutely important. They were a very important facet of the family, and they're actually important for a variety of reasons regarding the platform, the race platform itself. Never mind the variety of sponsorships and whatnot that are occurring upon the thing. You know what I mean? So it's like I say, it's a failure of me not even remembering the content to be reminding the viewership and the playership of the content. Go me, right? But the point being is, that's a thing that's important, that I understand I'm not doing as well as I am doing, but I'm addressing it as best I can. And I think that counts for something, so stop judging me. Why do you gotta be like that? Why are you just hammering on me like this? Oh, it's so terrible. Why you gotta be like that? Man, you come into my view and stream and you gotta, the attitude. But anyhow, I wax I waxed so long, so lackadaisically, and you are so good for listening for as long as you have, and I very much appreciate you for doing so. And until next time, may I say again, may your 20s always stand on 20. Have a good night, everybody.